Hi, welcome to the Grown Up Show, where being a grown up is always up for debate. My name's Danny Barros, alongside my longtime buddy Anthony Hall.
What's up, man?
We've made it to episode 5. Nice round benchmark number, halfway to 10. Lots to talk about, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of my favorite episodes, I think, so far, with just a lot of like real big news that's like juicy, that's worthy to talk about.
Good sports stuff.
Yeah, I know not a lot's really happening out in the world in terms of games or contests or things like that, but there's still transactions and a lot of drama and storylines to follow, and it's been like one little COVID soap opera so far. So
yeah. It's funny how no one's playing, but yet there's still drama.
Oh, there will always be drama.
There will always be drama.
That's it. And as long as we've got little computers in our hands and a platform to speak and to criticize others, like there will continuously be drama.
Yes.
More and more. So, but yeah, I mean, aside from that, I mean, real quick, how's the week been, man, since we last spoke?
Week's been cool. 4th was good. We just kind of chilled.
That's good. Everybody had a good holiday.
Yeah, it was fun. And then my birthday was on Monday, and it was just pretty mellow. I took the day off of work and just kind of kicked it. Just wanted to spend some time with the kids. So,
did you guys light any fireworks?
Really mellow. No, so we actually like the way, I think I said this last week, maybe I didn't, but like the way our house sits up on the hill is we oversee Beaverton, which is right next to Portland, and Beaverton goes off, dude. People go crazy. It's like we can see all of Beaverton and half of Portland, so it just goes off. So we just sit up there, dude, and watch the show, man. Like it's a free show for us, and it's pretty awesome. The kids love it. It was good. It was typical like dad life though. I mean, it was fun, but it was kind of funny because I actually fell asleep at 9:30. We all were sitting up on the deck, and Nate is like so into it. He's yelling every color he sees. And I'm not even kidding you though, dude. Like
it's a lot of colors pretty frequently too.
Oh yeah, it's just like dozens going off every second. So he's sitting there like red, oh green, yeah, orange, blue, yellow, literally for like 15 minutes. Wow. Meanwhile, Luke's sitting on my lap because we're in like little lawn chairs, and there's a mosquito hawk on the door over my shoulder. So like the entire time he's just staring at the mosquito hawk because he thinks it's gonna eat him. I'm like forcing his head. I finally like try to get rid of the mosquito hawk. It just bounces around and goes back because it's on the window looking at the light inside the room.
Yeah.
So he just was like focused on that, and he got tired, and I went to lay him down in bed at like 9:30 because they're usually in bed almost pretty much asleep by 8, and I tried to get him to tough it out till like 9:30, 10.
Yeah, because it doesn't really get dark to really do fireworks till like 9.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's the tough part about this year when you got little kids.
Well, up here, dude, because don't forget, I'm way more north than you now. It doesn't get dark up here till 10.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Like, yeah.
So it got dark enough to where they got to really see some vibrant colors and stuff, but it wasn't pitch dark yet, which is what I was hoping to get him to. But I laid Luke down at 9:30, and I just laid down next to him because he's weird. He's a tough kid, but he has those little things that he's kind of sketch on, and fireworks, like the noise is one of them. So I just laid down next to him for a little bit, and I passed out. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like, damn it, I missed the good ones. But it was still fun. They had fun. It was cool. Just a really mellow weekend.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, and then my birthday. I mean, we're getting old, bro. I turned 35, so to me, I almost forgot it was my birthday, to be honest. So It was nice just to kind of kick it, but I didn't need to do anything special.
Yeah, birthdays, they sneak up on you at this age, man. It's like when you're a kid, you used to like, oh my God, when's my birthday coming? It's only two months away. That's forever. It's like now it's like you're like, oh my God, like, oh shit, it's next week. Like I didn't realize my birthday's next week.
And I'm not one of those people that it's like, oh my God, another year. I'm getting so old. I'm more just like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And then it's always awkward. Like the awkward moment. I saw someone sent me a meme that was perfect. Like, what are you supposed to do when someone's singing you happy birthday? And I was just like, my people from work, they sang me happy birthday yesterday. It was pretty funny, but it's like, it's so true. It's like, what are you like? Am I supposed to smile and be like happy? Am I like, it's just like awkward, right? So
it's kind of like that Will Ferrell moment in like Talladega Nights where it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yes,
what should I be doing right now? You know,
It's exactly like that. Like, what am I supposed to be doing when people are just like awkwardly saying happy birthday to me? So I just kind of am like, okay, this is
yeah.
weird. Like,
Over the years, I think I've just like joined in and sang with them just to make it less awkward.
yeah. I
You
had
know,
some ideas after. I hate this. Like, this always happens to me where I think of the good stuff after. And I think next year, when someone sings happy birthday to me, I'm just going to stare them in the eyes, stone faced the
just
entire
pick one
time.
person.
Just make it real uncomfortable. Just like a straight, like almost like creeper stare down,
Or the,
and
or the next time
and then
they,
not even say anything until like 5 seconds after they're done. So there's on top of the awkwardness through the song, there's that awkward silence after the song, and
yeah,
then I'll finally just
yeah,
be like, "Thank you,"
there
and
you
then
go.
just make it weird, just like
And
that.
then just take the big knife that they hand you to like make a wish and just like stab the cake with
Yeah.
it and
Oh
walk
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of that, that's the other thing that drives me nuts about my birthday is I know it's kind of hard to believe because I'm a bigger fellow, but I don't like cake. I've never liked cake.
Me
And
neither, really.
every
I
year,
mean,
my mother-in-law and my wife are like, "Oh, what kind of cake do you want?" And it's like,
yeah,
I'm like, whatever you guys want, because I'm not gonna fucking eat it. So
I know.
we
I'm
got
more into
cookies
like
this year. I
cheesecake or
won. That
something
was
like that.
yeah. I'm
You
just
know?
like cheesecake's cool, but like chocolate cake or vanilla cake, like
Yeah, you take
it's
it or
just
leave it.
fluffy nothingness to me.
If it's like funfetti, like I'm down for it. I'll eat it, because it's usually pretty moist. But like usually, if it's not funfetti, it's pretty dry, and that's
Yeah.
why I tend to lean towards the cheesecakes or the pies because I'm more of
Yeah.
a moist type of fellow.
Oh God, how
I
do
don't
you
want
say that word so naturally?
I don't know. I don't necessarily want
Moist.
to just.
Ugh. Ugh.
There's a lot of controversy around that word. And I
Oh
don't
God,
understand why.
just say it. Moist. Oh God,
It's part of the
you just said it
dictionary.
so naturally, bro. Like it's nothing.
I mean, I could say the full word like moisture.
That's
Like
better. It's just moist. Oh, it's weird, dude. It's just a
sometimes
weird
there's
word.
only one way to describe
Yeah.
something,
No,
and
you're
it's
right. You're
moist.
right. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like
Yeah. No, I agree with
how else
that
do you
though. I
describe a
agree.
Pacifica morning at like 7 a.m.? It's just there's only one word. It's moist. You know.
Foggy, dude. It's foggy. Foggy with a bit
Uh,
of moisture.
Speaking of foggy, let's get into a beer update.
Oh yeah.
I've
Well,
got
I
a
didn't even get to ask you about your week though.
well, my week was pretty similar to yours. We did do some fireworks, but I burned $100 literally. I let it off. Fireworks are expensive.
Oh my
About
God, they're
100
crazy, dude.
about $100, probably lasted 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was cool. Nobody got hurt. The kids were safe. They had a good time. Some sparklers, some big ones. They just wanted to light every single one of them off themselves. They wanted to be the one to like light the match. They wanted
Yeah.
to be the one that like lit the fuse. They wanted to be right up in there. And we're just like, okay, guys, but just remember, like you're gonna have to book it as soon as this thing starts to go. We're gonna have to run back. And so it's like it was kind of like that over and over and over again. But it was cool. Tons and tons of fireworks here in Pacifica, and as you know,
Oh
over the
yeah.
years, I feel like it was worse though because more people were home.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like tons and tons of the illegal ones just going off everywhere. Like, as a matter of fact, I think a guy like lives a little bit um down the way from me, and he was out there doing the safe and sane ones, and every once in a while, boom, you hear one go off, and it's like it just. I mean,
Yeah.
usually you can hear them blocks away, but to hear it 3 houses
Oh
down, it's
yeah.
like you wanted to like take cover for a second. You're like, oh
Yeah.
crap,
I mean, we've talked about this before, like how I'm a jumpy person, and
Yeah.
yeah, we have a person here I literally think it's three doors down that does the big mortars, which we love. It's cool, but the noise, dude, every time it gets
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
hear it. Even
Yeah.
I don't have the time to react because you hear like the initial like poof, as it shoots up, and then I register that, and right as I register it, the big bang goes off, and every time I'm just like, oh shit, man, like
I know. It's
I know,
crazy,
but it's funny.
man.
I love it, and I love seeing them that close, but it's loud, dude.
I know. It's
It's loud.
gnarly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fourth was cool. I just did a little barbecuing, did some s'mores, the fireworks. It was just kind of a shelter in place style. It was cool. It
Yeah.
worked out. We had fun.
Good.
And then went back to normal life the next day. So
Excellent.
let's do it. Let's drink a beer. What
Let's
you
do
got?
it. I have Reclaim the Fame West Coast IPA out of Oakshire Brewing in Eugene, Oregon up here. So it's more your
Nice.
kind of label. You like these very
Yep.
colorful,
Yep.
vibrant labels. So I haven't had this one yet. I have had another beer from this brewery, and it was pretty good. So I have high expectations, but it does have the IBUs on it, so it's 70 IBU,
Nice.
and it's a 7.3 alcohol volume.
Nice. Nice.
So
Nice. Very nice, dude. It's interesting that you said the 70 IBUs because my beer is also 70 IBUs.
nice.
But I have a
I'm going for the open, by the way.
yeah, do it.
Am I micing it up? I feel like this is just like
It's become a thing
become a
now,
thing,
dude.
right?
Like you have to do it now.
A good one. That was a good one.
And is this your first time trying that one, or
Yeah,
have
I
you tried
haven't
it
had
before?
this one. I can't think of the name of the other one I had, but it was another. I think it was a double IPA. I can't think of the name of it. Damn it! But
It's all good.
I haven't had this one.
Take a sip. Tell us how you like it.
That's smooth, man. That's good.
Nice.
I like this. I like this brewery. I'm gonna actually head over there one of these days when it's safe to be around
Yeah.
people
Head down to
and
Eugene.
get like a real fresh
Hell yeah.
growler or something because they got good stuff, man.
Or just get a pint on tap, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So I am rocking with a Foggy Forest double IPA. And this is from Discretion Brewing Company. They're out of Santa Cruz, California.
Nice.
Made with a lot of hippie juice and tons of dank aromas. It's a double IPA, 8%, 70 IBUs. It hits you right in the mouth, like I said, with the dank flavor, West Coast style. But it's interesting. Yours is a single, mine's a double, similar IBUs. Right
Yeah,
there.
and that's interesting because I don't have. I mean, I taste it, but it's not as strong, like to the point where I don't like it. Like I'm gonna finish this happily. So, cheers, bud.
Cheers. Yeah, this one has like a little bit more of a smokier taste, but certainly danky, and it's killer.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Discretion
Nice.
Brewery. I've had a lot of good beers from them, and they're them, and I would say like Humble Sea Brewing Company are just the two that are coming out of Santa Cruz, just mopping it up right now.
Nice.
They are just putting out good beer after good beer after good beer. So look out for them if you can. Discretion Brewing Company. Cheers.
Nice, man.
So what's going on, man? What's going on in the gaming world these days?
Yeah.
Any
So
updates?
yeah, I got some updates. We'll keep it kind of short and simple. Nothing too crazy. We'll start with the big one for me at least. Dr. Disrespect. So we're at the 2-week mark here. Still nothing, which is now just gone overboard with the craziness. There has been some little blips, but stuff that you really can't count as any kind of intel. So we've talked about. I think I talked briefly about Nick Merckx, either to you offline or maybe I mentioned him in the show last week. I forget, but Nick Merckx is another big time Twitch streamer that played quite a bit with Dr. Disrespect, and so I had this kind of unique little situation happen. So I got to give a little bit of background. So how donations work through Twitch is you can basically give the streamer money. And every streamer has their donation set up differently. Most of the time, you'll see like some kind of logo pop up with a little bit of flair. It shows the amount and who donated it. Some people they'll let their donators put like a couple sentence little thank you or little whatever they want to say. Some people use it to troll. Some people use it to say I would love your content, blah blah blah, whatever the case is. I don't watch too much of Nick Merckx, but he has it so they can write something, but he reads it, I believe. It doesn't pop up on the screen anywhere. And he got a donation from Dr. Disrespect. Basically, it was $50, and I already forget what it says because this is how unexciting it is. But he said something about, keep killing it, Nick, blah, 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 blah. And then he said at the end, it ended with Twitch scapegoat. Is what like the big kind of detail in it was.
Yeah.
This is the hard part is even Nick said like he thinks it was the real Dr. Disrespect because Dr. Disrespect had donated to him before, and just kind of how he had written it, how it was donated and everything was very similar, which since the verbiage doesn't pop up on the screen, he reads it, no one would know what the first one look like. So that's where he's pretty confident. But you never know. Someone could, have that Dr. Disrespect title and have it, this is a guy that's in the middle of a gunfight playing a game. So he could read Dr. Disrespect and it could, one character could be slightly different that he just didn't catch.
Right, exactly.
We don't really know.
Yeah. The other eye could have been a number 1 or something,
Yeah, exactly. So, but he did, he seemed pretty interested about it. And then 2 more things popped up today. Again, for us, this is Wednesday. By the time this is out, it's going to be 2 days later on Friday. We pre-record, so more info might come out by then. But as of today, which is Wednesday of the week, Tim the Tapman, another big streamer that is my other favorite streamer besides Dr. Disrespect, another guy that they played a lot together. He was playing Call of Duty, and in the corner of his screen, when friends log online, it pops up. It says, so-and-so has logged on, and Dr. Disrespect logged on. So what does that mean? It means A, he's still gaming. B, he's not in jail or anything. So
right.
Another, really nothing major news wise, but it's enough to show you that he's out there and he's still doing, gaming and stuff, but
he's just not on the Twitch platform.
Yeah, not on Twitch and completely silent on all social media.
Probably by like a recommendation from his legal team that says, "Hey, let's not stir the pot here."
Yeah.
Which is another indication of the fact that neither side has really come forward with what it is, especially Twitch. I mean, it leads you to believe that it's a pretty intense legal battle, and it sounds like Twitch has gotten themselves into hot water in the past, and so they might have beefed up their legal team and got some real counsel involved here, and that could be why it actually seems like they're doing something in a professional manner here. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good call out. This is a unique one, man. Like we said last week with the whole Donald Trump channel getting banned and them giving a reason. It's just very unique that they've given us nothing. Another thing, back to Nick Merckx, another donator sent him money, and their what they used their comment section for was to ask, what's going on with Dr. Disrespect, and Nick Merckx had replied with, "I'll tell you in 2 months," which kind of hints towards him knowing. Now, this is where this is my opinion, my personal opinion. I think the big guys that he used to play with, Tim the Tapman, Nick Merckx, a couple other guys, I'm pretty confident they know what's going on, and they're just, they have to keep quiet too. These are guys he played with almost every day.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who know, and the reason why things aren't getting leaked because they're probably saying, "Hey, you leak this, you're gone."
Yeah.
And so whereas before things leak and it's just like, "Oh, well, whatever."
Yeah. So here's the thing about this, which makes me breathe a small sigh of relief, is so first off, let me wrap it up with Nick Merckx. That's all he said. He said, "I know, I'll tell you in 2 months," and then nothing else was said. He moved on.
Right.
So the thing that's nice about the 2 things with what he has said and with the possible donation from him, it makes me feel like this is nothing to do with sexual abuse or anything like that. I think we can kind of, I mean, maybe not, but I feel like if it was that and these guys knew this, they would totally freaking
they wouldn't want anything
him,
to be associated with them.
So the fact that they're willing to mention, and even Tim said, like, as he was streaming, he's like, "Did you guys see that in the top right corner? Dr. Disrespect logged on," like just joking, and then moved on. They're not talking, but even little comments like that make me feel like this is probably something with the like we've talked about last episode, where this might be Twitch trying to get rid of him because he's not a person you want to kind of idolize and want to be the face of your company because he's Dr. Disrespect,
But then don't make him the face of your company, but he could still be a big player in your company.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like he's so unique that Twitch could totally not put him in any ads or anything. He's so special in what he does that he forces that onto them. He forces himself into the Twitch spotlight. That's what makes him so fun to watch and entertaining. Is the only way Twitch is ever going to shut him up is by doing what they did. So we'll have to see what happens, but there are little things, but he's being very quiet. In relation to that, I want to also add in Shroud to this. because Shroud has been completely offline too. Nothing on social media. Shroud was the other big namer that went to Mixer, and then Mixer shut down. He was released of his contract. Nothing from Shroud either. We do know that he has been logging on and gaming with another streamer. I can't think of his name. A game called Escape from Tarkov, which is a pretty popular game right now. So he's definitely gaming, but he hasn't said anything on any social media. So that's not a bad thing for him. It is kind of out of character, but the industry and community kind of think he's just taking a break.
Well, yeah, and when you've sort of made as much money as he has rather quickly of recent, it's
when
like
you get
you
a
don't
check
really
for
need to
$10
do
million,
anything.
you're allowed to take a week or two off, basically.
Well, and the thing is like you don't really need to do anything right now. You're sitting pretty. You've got plenty of money, and really, there's a lot of things crumbling around you. So you might as well just kind of sit back and see where the chips fall, and then you can, if you want to latch onto somebody after that, go for it. But I think that from what we've seen already come out in this industry, I don't think we've seen the end of it. And so it could potentially continue to unravel. And I think that's why he's playing it smart right now. It's like, just go have fun and play games, but you don't have to, be attached to anybody at this time or even stream. Because A, you don't need to, and B, it's not really a good time. So,
it's, and that's the thing is I think he's just chilling, and just, enjoying the fact that he doesn't have, there's no pressure on him to make money right now or anything like that. He's, when Shroud comes back, whether it's tomorrow or 6 months from now, his community is going to show right back up. He's just that type of guy. He's a super chill, cool dude. He's just a really down to earth guy. So, his followers are not going to be like, oh, that's this guy. When he comes back, they're going to come and they're going to support him. So I think he's just taking a little break, man. That's, again, my personal opinion. But, again, a little odd that completely silent on all social media, and all streaming platforms, but that's fine. So now the big one, the big update is Ninja. So Ninja finally, we've got a little bit of info. So today he did a live stream on YouTube. He consistently stayed over 100,000 viewers, which is insane.
While live?
Yeah. He peaked at 167,000 viewers. So it was a big time stream. He streamed for about 2 hours with a couple of the big name guys like Tim the Tatman, Courage, and Dr. Lupo. So that's his little crew. And he played Fortnite, which is what he's known for. So I checked out the first round and the last round. I have kids and a job, so I unfortunately couldn't watch the whole thing. But he looked like he was just having fun. And it was cool to see because Ninja's a cool dude. He's a fun dude.
That's good.
A very positive guy. So it was fun to see him back doing what he loves. This now, to make it clear, this was just kind of him just doing his thing, testing the waters. He has not signed any kind of exclusive deal with YouTube. He could very much tomorrow pop up on Twitch and do the same thing. He has no ties to anything yet. Slasher, who again is basically like the Ian Rappaport of gaming news. He did tweet out that apparently Ninja is in talks with a couple different platforms, which really is YouTube and Twitch. I would be surprised if he went to Facebook Gaming. I'd be utterly shocked, especially because apparently Facebook Gaming offered him and Shroud double what their contracts were with Mixer to come over, which would have been for Ninja $60 million and Shroud somewhere in the $20 to $30 million range. So the fact that he turned that down already makes me feel like it's not even an option. It's going to be between YouTube and Twitch.
I think YouTube can pretty much lock him up or has the funding to pay
Twitch
him
can
quite a
too.
bit of money.
Twitch definitely could too. I still stand behind my original opinion of if he is going to sign an exclusive deal, which here's the other thing. He doesn't have to sign any exclusive deal. He could very much switch between the two of them. I feel like that would be a poor decision. But he could do that. So
So do you think this was like more like a test today to
Yeah, I
see
think he was
like
just kind
to
of
test the market to see like who's
yeah.
going to tune in, like give YouTube a baseline on what they're dealing with
Yeah,
here?
I think so. A question that was asked afterwards on Twitter, I forget who asked it, so sorry. But it was, with the numbers that he got today, does this make him more enticing? Does this flex any power that he has and make, the fight for him, the price go up? And Slasher disagreed, and I agree with Slasher with this. I don't think it does, because with Mixer out of the picture, the players are Twitch and YouTube, and they don't.
Yeah.
And especially with COVID right now, where everyone's at home gaming, like the numbers are astronomical right now on both of them. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
need to dish out money. They're making money. Would it be great to sign Ninja? Yeah, but is it going to destroy their platform if they don't get them? Not even
No.
close.
No.
So I think that it's really how much they're wanting to spend and how much is Ninja gonna be okay with it not being. I mean, I'd be surprised if he signed anything near $30 million again, like he did with Mixer. I find that hard to believe in today's gaming industry with how popular these two platforms are right now because of everyone at home.
Well, if I'm a gamer like Ninja or Shroud or these guys, and I know what Ninja's like 28 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think he's just over later 20s.
So let me put it to you this way: if I'm 28 and I'm at the top of my game, and this happens to be the gaming industry, and I'm one of the most recognizable names in the industry, and I'm in the top 5, let's say,
Mhm.
of the elitist of the elite. Well, transfer that to basketball or football or baseball or any of these other sports. If you are the elitist of the elite, you're getting a max contract, and in some cases, like we've just seen with Patrick Mahomes, that's
Yeah,
$500 million.
yeah,
Or like we've seen with Bryce Harper, that's $300 million for 10 years. That's, and like the NBA has a little bit different restrictions on it. They have max limits for certain max players, and you can only have so many of them per team. So those are upwards to about $180 million, but 5-year contracts. So there's still like, 35 million per year,
yeah,
like on a lot of these big deals. So if I'm him, I'm looking at those guys and I'm saying, hey, why do you not see me like this? Do
yeah,
you want me to come to YouTube? Like, I need a 10-year deal like this, and I'll stream on your platform for 10 years. Give me this. Like, it's not going to be the 30 million one time or 30 million for 10 years, like the Mixer deal was or something like that. I
yeah,
think we've learned from that,
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and that's a valid point. The one thing I want to point out to that is there is a large difference in the fact that with sports, you're signing these people for one goal, which is to win the championship. Where in this scenario, there is no championship. They're both winning right now. Like, unreal amounts of money is just piling in from subscribers and things like that, more so than ever right now. So to them, like, yes, okay, so you sign Ninja, and this, these numbers were crazy because Ninja, because of the hype around the scenario situation where he went to Mixer failed. Now where's he going to go? So everyone wants to chime in to see what he's going to say, which he didn't really talk on it at all. He jumped right into a game with his boys and didn't, and literally he hopped on to have some fun. Didn't talk about the drama or anything. And that's why he had all those viewers. On average, when the dust settles, he's back into his flow wherever he lands. He'll probably average around 40,000 viewers a stream. So you got to think of it as 40,000 is a large number. It absolutely is. But when you're looking at people like Summit 1G, XQC, Tfue, Tim the Tapman, these are all the big name streamers on Twitch that average anywhere from 20 to 60. Nick Merckx, 60,000 viewers. Is that 40,000 extra viewers really that astronomical to them? It's really not. Like, it's something that if I'm leading Twitch, I'm looking at this, I go, you know what, Ninja, we'd love to have you. We'll give you, I don't know, 5 million a year, which I even think is a stretch for 3 years or something. Take it or leave it. If he leaves it, it's no sweat off our back. We're already making all these millions and millions of dollars off these other guys. It's not like a total loss. The reason it was so hyped originally is because this was a platform in Mixer that was trying to blow up and take over. With them out of the picture, the battle between Twitch and YouTube is so neutral. Twitch isn't all of a sudden going to wake up tomorrow and YouTube took all their streamers. It's not like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a different design right now where neither of them like Mixer needed Ninja. Mixer needed Shroud. It was a statement like, we're here to play ball. We want to be the top dog. YouTube has, like we talked before, YouTube is their base is videos. Twitch's base is streaming. The streaming side on YouTube is just a bonus. They're already set in their ways. Any little piece they get is just a little extra treat. But YouTube's not going to start coming over and plucking people from Twitch. Like it's not worth it to them. They're not going to start dumping millions of dollars into some people that they already make millions off of the videos that they upload from their Twitch streams.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, he'll probably get an exclusive deal. But I don't think it's going to be anything like what it was with Mixer. I think he's definitely in a situation where he can kind of do what he wants. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see, but it was just good to see him live again and having fun and back in the game, because he really is one of the faces of this industry. So
I mean, I wonder if it's like, hear me out here. I'm just kind of thinking in real time here.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it'll ever, if the other option is to be where it's like, okay, Ninja, you're your own brand, just like Beyonce is, or a big name celebrity. Okay, well, who's to think that like, he just doesn't have a fee that's like per stream, whatever platform I'm on, I'm gonna get paid this, and then it could just be like, okay, I'm gonna almost like how a big time marquee game gets put on national TV, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, okay, well, once a week I'm gonna stream on YouTube, but my main thing is Twitch.
Yeah.
But like I've got a thing where I can, it's like being on ESPN for the game of the week or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm gonna go there every Saturday and I'm gonna stream on YouTube and I'm gonna play, 6 hours, this many games, and that's the deal I got. Twitch is cool with it. I got 6 days a week over there. They're gonna play my best of stuff when I'm not there, and we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a great idea. It would definitely be one of a kind.
Then you can have a lot of guys sort of like going all over the place.
Yeah. And I mean, and there is really no negative to that if both the companies are okay with the deal that they made. All it does for Ninja is it brings him to other viewers. So
yeah, it grows his brand that much more.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like the gamer in this instance really benefits the most.
Yeah.
From the exposure,
Yeah. So I like that idea a lot, but again, I'm going to go back to the fact that it's something that, how does that benefit those companies? It doesn't. I don't think it does. And that's where I think they'd just be like, we rather, we're willing to go back to the partnership.
But it could though, because if you're, like I said, if it's not just Ninja, if it starts to become a habit with other people, it's like, okay, well, and it becomes a thing where it's like, oh, well, to play this game, he's going to be on this platform that day, but then he's going to play that game on that platform the other day. So now you're bringing different audiences who would only follow this person for that game, and now they're exposed for different things. So if you're mixing it up this way versus putting all your eggs into one basket all the time, I feel like it can coexist a little bit more.
I see it.
But that's a little bit more a la carte. So I feel like the money could be a little lower on the gamer side, and it could be more favorable for the platforms in that scenario rather than the gamer.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's a fun concept. That's not impossible. And especially with him, because he's to that level that he is a brand, Ninja is a brand. So,
right.
I mean,
because in the same way of like, okay, Twitch bans Dr. Disrespect, but there might be a platform that's willing to give him a platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so here you have, now you've got the multiple platform thing again. And it's like, it can't just be a thing where we're going to try him out. If people are giving us shit for it, or they're not following him anymore, then we dump him,
Yeah.
But you don't have to go exclusive.
Yeah. It's just interesting times, man. And there's so many theories and ideas. I actually really like how your mind's working with it. But as it is, we'll just have to wait and see. But whatever it is, I hope that he keeps doing what he's doing right now and just gets out there again because his fan base is pretty cool. They're, you know, a lot of youth. He's a character. He has his rage moments, but they're all fun. For the most part, he's super positive. He's a great role model for younger kids. So it's just nice to see him. It was just good to see him. And it's funny because I don't largely watch Ninja, mainly because I don't like Fortnite. I used to watch him a lot back in the PUBG days. When he used to play with Dr. Disrespect. Yeah, actually, fun story for you. They had a stream once where he dressed up as the opposite, and he was, I think it was Mr. Respectful, and he was like Dr. Disrespect's brother. It was hilarious, dude. And he talked super nerdy, and like when he killed someone, he would be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, friend. I hope you're okay." It was hilarious, dude. So yeah, it was just good times. You should look up some clips from that. It was fantastic, dude. But I'm not a fan of Fortnite. I'm one of the, you know, sorry gamers that watch this that I probably offended you with that statement. But so I stopped watching him when he went to Fortnite. But I love him as a person. He seems like a great dude, and he's just real energetic. So it was just fun to see him having fun and smiling again. So
yeah.
So on that note, that's where we're at with those guys. One last little bit of news, which is on the unfortunately opposite side. I just want to touch on Wreckful real quick. So Wreckful was really one of, if not the first original big time Twitch streamers. Very big into World of Warcraft. Did some other things, but his main focus was World of Warcraft. Towards the end of last week, he ended up committing suicide. It was a big hit to the gaming community. This is a guy that, I mean, you know this, but a lot of people don't know this. I was huge into World of Warcraft. I played it. I mean, I'm embarrassed to admit how many days of my life you could see logged into World of Warcraft. He was one of the guys I used to watch 10 years ago.
I know. Whenever I think of you playing World of Warcraft, I think of that South Park episode of them playing World of Warcraft.
That was me, bro. That was me. So he was just, you know, he had always kind of had some mental issues. You could kind of tell, like depression issues and stuff. But he was a good dude, and it was a big hit to the industry. It was also, you know, it's sad, but good comes out of it. Because it brought some major awareness to mental illness within the gaming community, and it's a very high subject right now.
Suicide in general and all that stuff, and
with just the principle of, you know, you have these internet trolls, dude. They're so bad sometimes, dude. Like, I've even had it. Like when I Twitch, I'll have, you know, people come in and literally they'll write "you're fat" and then leave. It's like, that's it. It's like, well, first off, I know that. Thank you. That's okay. Yeah. But like him and a lot of the people, they'll come in, they'll literally write, "you should kill yourself." And like there's clips of him where he's had conversations with people like, why do you say that? Like, why do you, like, people are just brutal, dude. And over time, I think it just, you know, the negativeness got to him and really started to affect him to the point where he, unfortunately, mind went in a way that sometimes it's hard to get out of.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, you can have 1 million followers and still be very alone in the world.
Yeah,
you know,
and that was him. And he mentioned that a lot of times in his streams, how, you know, he's lonely and this and that. And it's, you know, there's one clip that popped up from a few years ago where he had mentioned that, you know, his mind wanders and he's really lonely, and he, you know, and then he decided to jump into the stream so he has someone to talk to, because his real life friends are, you know, they're always busy, they're always streaming or this and that, which is what the streaming life for the big time streamers, it's a grind, man, or you start losing those views. Like, it's all about views. And, you know, you take one day off. Like Tim the Tap Man has a video that he talked about it where he took a 3-day vacation and he came back and he had lost like 15,000 subscribers. And it's like, you know, eventually he got them back, but it's really like, if you're not grinding, you're losing. So it's just a tough industry.
Hell yeah,
that's why I've never taken it that serious, because I could never do that.
You've also never taken a day off either, so.
Oh God, I take days off all the time. So there's times where I'll sit down, man, I'll be like, all right, ready to stream, and then I'll watch a YouTube video, and then I'll watch another YouTube video, and then I'll be like, oh shit, I'm not streaming tonight, I'm watching YouTube videos. So I just, it's hard work to really.
Dude, it's surprising to me to see how many athletes there are in this world that are just so into the gaming world.
Dude,
Like
Zeke
it's the generation thing, you know?
yeah, Zeke was playing some Call of Duty the other night streaming. I mean,
Well,
they
yeah.
stream too. Like they stream. It's funny. He
Oh, I know.
he was streaming the other night where his title was playing with my helmet on until I get a win. And he was literally sitting there with this Cowboys helmet fucking playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. It
At
probably still
first I
has
was
it
like, this
on.
isn't him. And
Yeah.
then in between games, he took it off to like, just get the sweat off his head. And it was, sure enough, it was him just chipping away at some games. So yeah,
But no, I was
it's
tweeting
funny.
something today about like the NBA because they're all showing up in Orlando and like guys are like getting off buses like holding computer
Yeah.
monitors and
Oh yeah.
it's like once you're in your room, after practice or a game in this little bubble, there ain't gonna be much to do. But you
Yeah.
got to remember that the average age of these athletes are still in their early 20s or mid 20s, and for a generation who grew up gaming, they're all heavily into gaming as opposed to some of the athletes maybe in their 30s, late 30s, towards the retirement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a big industry amongst so many more people than you realize, and
Yeah.
even people like of that stature who you would think like don't have a lot of time to game. It's like, but they don't have a lot of time to do a whole lot else outside of their home or outside of like what they're doing. So if they get time to relax, of course, why not? Why wouldn't they
Yeah.
game?
And that's the enticing thing with these battleground games is really like you can jump in and you can play a game, usually if you get all the way through and win, depending on the game, it's usually about 20-30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can hop in and that's what has gravitated me more towards it and less from games like Warcraft, which is a gear grind and things like that, where you're collecting gear, making a character stronger. Because with kids and stuff, it's nice that earlier today, I had a little break and everyone was just doing their own thing. So I hopped on, I played a quick round in the middle of the day. Like I would never be able to do that with any other game.
Yeah.
So I see how it's popular with the sports guys because they after a long day of practice they can hop on, play a couple rounds, and then do their thing. So
Wow,
yeah, so it's interesting.
But they
On
also,
that,
like it makes sense that they stream too because they have a big following just as the athlete, and then if their following feels that they're they'll jump on too, and then most people recognize who they are, so they're gonna have people following their stream.
yeah,
So it makes sense.
yeah, and I mean the celebrities they get some big time viewership too. I mean, so the thing that made Ninja blow up was Drake had tweeted out that he wants to play Fortnite with him, and that was the record-setting night where he had like 300,000 viewers back. This was back before Mixer when he was still on Twitch, and he played with Drake and I think Travis Scott. And
Okay.
I mean, the viewer count got up to like 300,000-400,000 viewers. So
Oh,
that was what skyrocketed Ninja into the stratosphere of gaming legends. So,
well, I mean more young people are going crazy over Travis Scott compared to Drake.
oh
It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so that's
So on that note, since you transitioned into sports, I know we got some contract info to talk on, but before I do that, I just want to quickly wrap up on Recful and just say, as a lifelong gamer, as someone that's slowly getting Danny here into gaming, on behalf of both of us in the Growed Up Show, rest in peace, Recful. You brought a lot of happiness to the world of gaming, and our thoughts and prayers are with your friends and family.
yeah, no doubt, man.
So,
Rest easy. That's a
cheers.
tough one. Yeah, cheers to that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of other sports and contracts, I mean, it's more like a mammoth in the building, not necessarily an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But that Patrick Mahomes contract is one hell of a deal.
I mean,
And I say,
when you can literally say the word billion at this point in contracts with $500 million contract, that's big time.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over the next, let's say, 11 years or so.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, I mean, he's locked up through, I think, 2031, I believe. Yeah, 2031, he's locked up. He's a free agent in 2032. Um, But basically, a lot of people look at these dollar numbers and it's like, okay, 503 million, and then you're getting 477 million. So the difference there between the 477 and the 503, so he gets a $2.5 million incentive every year if he was to win an AFC championship game and an NFL MVP. Yeah. So it's like he'd have to do that for 10 years straight
Yeah, that's
just
impossible.
to earn $25 million to bridge the gap between 477 and 503.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, he might get a few of those. The other things, the other incentives that are like, are he gets roster bonuses, workout bonuses, all these other things, right? But his money gets guaranteed on the third league day of every year. So that's an interesting thing to think about. Now, if he's injured, let's say at the end, let's say he tears his ACL at the end of a season, he's not going to be on the roster, or he might not be cleared to be on the roster by the third day of the NFL season that following year. And so that's going to be different as well. So the injuries play a factor into this.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of things play a factor. And if you look at the details in the contract and where there's dead cap money, there's not a lot of dead cap money after 2025.
And that's the point where Kansas City could basically cut the tie if they wanted to and not be out any money.
Yeah, there's a lot of ripcords and things like this where they can pull and sort of get out of. And a lot of people are saying that this is a really good deal for Kansas City because of that.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying, that oh, here's a guy who didn't have a lot of leverage. Why did he sign this? Yeah, but it's like at the same time, like this is his first big contract, and he's still gonna get quite a bit of money.
So I mean, yeah, and the fact alone where it was a $10 million signing bonus and like 140 million guaranteed. So if he does play at now, is that up to the dead cap line, or is that through the entire contract that guaranteed?
So that $141 million is the total guarantee that would go against the dead cap. Now, if you add up all the dead cap money, because so basically
so after year 5, he will have made that 141 million.
Correct.
Okay, so that alone, to me, in my mindset, is a total win for Mahomes.
Well, I mean, if you look at it this way, it's like if there's a quarterback right now signing a 5-year, $141 million deal, that's also a pretty good contract.
Yeah.
And so this is just another way for them to lock him up, basically, because they believe he's a once in a generation talent. Whether or not they battle one or two injuries, they're still willing to wait for him and wait it out.
Yeah.
But there's the cap hits are extraordinarily high as we get into the later part of this decade. And I don't know if that's because we just are going based off inflation numbers and what we've seen over the past 10, 15, 20 years, or if we anticipate the salary cap itself growing and getting bigger, which it didn't as part of this CBA, this recent CBA agreement. So hopefully it will increase in a few years when they renegotiate, which it'll have to be if the economy continues to go in the direction it's going. Obviously not COVID related, but I mean in the historical inflation for sports contracts, which never seem to go the opposite direction. They never seem to go down. So
no. Well, this has got me thinking. I was thinking about this earlier, and remind me if I'm incorrect, but wasn't it just about 5 years ago Giancarlo Stanton signed a 10-year, $100 million contract with Florida?
No, it was like 10 years, 225.
Oh, was it? Okay. I thought it
was like ridiculous. And then basically it was so ridiculous that he had to be traded into none other than the Yankees.
Yeah. Okay. So even if it was 250 million, like here we are 5 years later and someone's signing a contract for the same time, double that amount. Like the contracts in sports are just getting out of control.
Oh, I know. They're getting outlandish, But I mean, that's on one hand, it's given us sports heads in this COVID era something to talk about for sure. But
especially with the fact that we have a player that has proven himself just as much, if not in some ways more, than Mahomes. Maybe not as more. I'd say just as much. In Newton, who just signed the league minimum for the same position.
yeah,
which is wild to think of. This guy is making as a contract for 1 year, 1.7 million, compared to a guy that in his first year is going to walk away with 20 something million dollars.
Well, I mean, just to give you perspective, it's like 2020 is the last year on Mahomes' current deal. And so basically he's only getting paid $5 million this year. This is a great contract extension, but
That's right.
he's
Because
not going to
the extension starts in 21.
Yeah, so he'll go from getting about 5 million this year, which with everything he'll probably end up pocketing about 10 mil, but next year it'll go to 22 and then 29, and then it's like just to give you perspective, so in 2 years he'll still be at 29. He definitely won't be the highest paid quarterback that year. It's like, think about it, Dak Prescott's getting paid $31 million this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the franchise tag going to be next year? 32?
Yeah.
32 million, 33. And then you got more guys that need to get paid, and Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, and
Lamar Jackson's going to be an interesting one. If we get if he gets another year like he did last year, this year, oh man, his contract will be as big, if not bigger, than Mahomes.
Well, if he's in the MVP conversation again and he's, flirting with the Super Bowl like he was, it's like, and he's putting up the same numbers, there's no question that he'll get an extension at the end of next season before he's even out of his rookie deal.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of the trend. I mean, you're seeing the same thing happen with guys like George Kittle, who, I mean, technically the Niners don't have to do anything this year because he can still play under about, like, I think it's like an $850,000 contract because he was a fifth round draft pick. But the fact of the matter is, and the reality is, it's like, he's definitely outperforming his draft position. He's definitely outperforming his contract. And that's not at fault of the Niners, really. But at the same time, it's like, you want to do right by your guys, and you want to make sure that they know that you are invested in them, not only now, but for the future. And that you want to build around this guy, make him a cornerstone of your franchise. That's why you pay a guy. And you've also got to realize that if you wait longer to pay them, then there's going to be so many more guys that are coming down the pipe that need to be paid all at the same time. And if you're trying to pay everybody at once, then they're all going to hit the cap at different times and at different capacities in which you're not going to be able to afford all of them. So sometimes you need to do these extensions beforehand and early on so that you can front load them with signing bonuses and whatnot. So that way that money doesn't get taken towards the cap, and you can have a smaller base salary that year and subsequent years. So even though this contract could seem like it's $150 million, but when it's against the cap, it only feels like it's about a $75 million contract against the cap over that same amount of years, because you're building in the incentives, the roster bonuses, you're building in the signing bonuses, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting, intricate business. I'm definitely not an expert at it. I'm still learning it. I'm still, trying to scrape the surface and get as much information as I can, but it is incredibly, just
it's wild.
It is, dude. It is
how detailed these contracts are becoming is just insane to me. All these little incentives and these little like you like to call the ripcords and things. Like, I just feel like if I was a player, I'd want to be like, look, here's the deal. 10 years, $500 million, $50 million a year. Boom, let's go. Yeah. Done. It's a wrap. None of this little shit. But
the only
get
person that can say that at this point in their life is Tom Brady, and that's why he did a 2-year, $50 million deal, fully guaranteed, $25 million a year. I mean, because he's the only one with the resume and the experience. That guy,
he drops the resume Bible down, and people are just going to be like, what do you want? How do I get you here?
People got to remember, Patrick Mahomes is a great player, and he's putting up outstanding numbers, but he's only had 2 years as a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And yes, he's won an MVP and a Super Bowl, but I mean, there's still the risk that he gets a lifelong career-ending injury.
Yep.
There's also the risk that he just like completely flames out. His
Yeah.
best years are behind him.
Teams
I mean, you
figure him
never know.
out.
You never know. I mean,
Well,
so
that's like it's a not, and we're not going down this road. Just as an example, like Kaepernick. Kaepernick was the explosion, the new hit thing, and then teams figured out that his accuracy and speed of his throws were kind of locked in as to what they were, and they figured out how to play him, and that's where he then fizzled down into kind of a normal quarterback.
oh,
So
crazy,
yeah, I mean
man.
that took almost 2 years for that to happen. So
Yeah, I mean, just to give you perspective, like on like this coming year, quarterbacks how they rank against the salary cap. Like Patrick Mahomes, like people think he's the highest paid quarterback because he just signed a 500 and something $1 million deal. Well, he's the 29th highest paid quarterback like for this coming season.
wow.
Like let me just give you some examples of some people who are in front of him. Tua Tagovailoa,
Who?
28th.
Who?
He's the guy from Alabama that just got drafted by the Dolphins.
Oh, okay. Wow,
You know?
he's ahead of him?
Yeah, because he was a first-round
That's
pick.
right.
Patrick
That's right.
Mahomes was not a first-round pick. He'll be 28th. Patrick Mahomes will be 29th.
Wow.
Tyrod Taylor will be getting paid $7.5 million for the Chargers
Is he
at
even gonna
25.
play? I
Probably
mean,
not. Their rookie
Jesus.
quarterback will probably play, or it would be a competition.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzmagic
Oh,
is at 24 with an
he's
8.
earned that spot. He's earned that spot. He's
Yeah, he's
also
a
been
veteran.
on, but that's like a
Yeah.
I feel like they just match that with the amount of teams he's been on too.
Yeah. And then you go up to 19 and you got Mitchell Trubisky at $9.3 million.
Oh my god.
It's just, I mean, these are just
Talk
base
about
salaries
flaming
against
out.
the cap this year,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and even like you look at Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady, they're both sitting tied at number 5 with $25 million contracts.
What is Rivers' contract right now?
1 year, 25 mil,
Okay.
fully guaranteed.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like Jacoby Brissett, so you got Phillip Rivers in Indy making $25 million, and you got Jacoby Brissett in Indy making $21 million.
Wow. Seems like
Expensive quarterback room.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. But
yeah. I feel like that money for that backup could go to some other very important positions.
I mean, you could, but then again, it's like you only got Rivers for 1 year.
Yeah.
Who knows? There might be some ripcords in there, if he doesn't even make the roster or whatnot. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's just
roster, but yeah.
But from there, I want to go to running backs because today there was some news dropped on us a little closer to home in Ninerville here. Raheem Mostert surfaced last year as the Niners, lead back out of the backfield, RB1. Was a longtime special teams guy for them as a gunner and just an all-around special teams guru. Obviously, his background outside of special teams is as a running back, and the Niners definitely used him there quite a bit of times. Definitely when they had some injuries earlier on to guys like Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman, and certainly when Jerick McKinnon went down that first season they had him. So that's kind of when they discovered Mostert. But last year was really his breakout season, especially towards the end of the season and through the Super Bowl. And basically, he's looking for a new contract coming in this year. And it's not necessarily, I would say, outrageous or anything, quite demanding like we've seen with guys like Ezekiel Elliott when they were holding out, or Le'Veon Bell, for instance. So I definitely think it's something that we can work through. And I definitely think that it's something that if the Niners really value this guy, that they can pay him. But I also view it as the Niners don't have to do anything.
Yeah. So this one kind of triggered me a little bit personally, because, and it's hard. Like I get it. And football is a very dangerous sport. You got to try to make your money, and I get that. But and Mostert was a huge asset to us last year. There's no denying that. Like he came out of nowhere. But at the same time, no one knew this guy's name until last year, and he's been in the league since 2015. He was on Cleveland, Miami, and Baltimore, I think.
Mhm.
I should pull this up.
He was on
On
7
1
different.
year, within 1
Yeah.
year.
He's been
And
in the league for like 4 full years. This will be his 5th, and he's been on 7 different teams.
yeah, and
Like,
he's done nothing until last year. So now I'm not trying to dog him, but I feel like you've been in the league for 5 years. You've done literally, like, I have his stats up now, and some of them, they're literally just zeros across the board. And then you have this one blowout year. I feel like you have more against you than for you in the fact that you need to come and show up and play ball this year. And then you can, because then you go from, well, he's done nothing. And then he had this one great year. Could that have been a fluke because no one knew about him and this and that? So, or you have, okay, now this dude's figured it out. It took him a few years, but he figured it out and he's good because he did back-to-back greatness, you know? So I feel like this is, and especially in this situation in San Francisco where the running back field is deep right now, and it's pretty strong. Where I just feel like this is really not a good play by him, because like you said, the Niners don't need to do anything for them. We still have running backs, and from what the chat's been with McKinnon, apparently McKinnon's in like the best shape of his life. He's ready to go hard, you know.
yeah, which it all still
So
remains to be seen, which,
yeah,
we'll
of
check
course,
it out.
of
But
course. I just feel like this is not a smart move by him.
well, here's how I see it, and maybe this will give you a different perspective. So, uh, when you look at the stats, okay, when you talk about who's the highest paid, are they the highest productive? No.
Yeah, no,
In this case, I believe it was like 5.6 yards per carry, if I'm not mistaken. That's what he
yeah,
averaged last year. That was number 1,
hmm
on yards per carry. You can't deny that.
no, that's
Uh,
pretty good.
and I mean, the dude had some monster games. If you look at his stats based on carries, I mean, if you're averaging that per season, you're having good games. Your
Hmm.
averages are going to remain as they are in each game. And there were so many people that said, well, where was he at the beginning of the year? Well, he wasn't the lead guy at the beginning of the year. They were giving a lot of carries to Coleman and Breida, and then they were giving it to him. So, like on some games in the beginning of the year last year, he was getting 8 or 9 carries, but he also still turned those in to his big averages, and then when he got more and more opportunities from injuries, that's when he blew up.
Yeah,
You know? Now, there's a lot of people that would say that, oh, okay, well, he's tried 7 different teams, it didn't work out, but it's just because of Shanahan's system that he's having success. So even if he gets traded, like, he'll be exposed and he won't be the same guy in somebody else's system. Now, that very well could be the case, but that also could be very well not the case, because he could have been a special teams guy on all these other teams too, and not given the opportunity to be a running back the way that Shanahan's given him the opportunity to be a running back.
yeah,
The other thing to think about is Coleman and Breida were definitely given the rock, preferably over him towards the start of the season last year.
yeah,
There were times where visibly they were not having success. And
yes,
then he came in and had success and maintained success and still put up these numbers. So
yeah,
that right there kind of debunks the Shanahan system theory that says, well, then why isn't Coleman and why isn't Breida having the same, if not better, numbers at Mostert? If they're better running backs because they're RB1 and 2 and he's RB3, then why aren't they putting up the same numbers? Because they're running in the same system, you know?
yeah.
So
I get that. I do
you
get
can really
that.
argue it a different way. Now, the other thing to think about this too is the guy's 28 years old. Um, he's going to be a free agent in 2 years, which at the age of 30, not a lot of free agent running backs at 30 often will get many offers, or even any offers very lucrative.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's kind of
hi
the older side of that position.
exactly. So I think a guy in his position with the past that he has had, and the current sort of position he's in, I think he's looking at this like, my stock is never going to be higher. And if I'm
Yeah,
ever going to do a sort of money grab or try to
he needs to do it
uh,
now.
flip this, like, this is gonna be my only opportunity. Now, whether or not that doesn't look like a team-friendly move or that doesn't look like a good move or a good guy move or whatever, you can understand that as a person. I mean, there's one philosophy in sports that says you will never knock a guy who's trying to go after as much money as he can because, hey, if I had the opportunity, I would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I get that.
But, on the
I
other
just
hand,
I do get that and I respect it. I just feel like the scenario with the Niners, it's a big risk for him losing out
yeah,
entirely
definitely a
because of
bigger
the
risk
depth.
for him.
Because then we also have that Ahmed guy who he's the new one, right? Um,
Which one are you talking about?
for running backs, it's Sal something Sal Ahmed.
Oh, when was
He's
somebody just drafted?
yeah. That they've been chatting a little bit about, but nothing. No one's seen anything about him yet.
Yeah, I mean, but still, let's say we
What's his
lose Raheem
name?
Mostert, we still have Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, and Jeff Wilson
Yeah,
Jr.,
yeah.
you know?
Like it's just it's very deep.
So,
Um, but I
I mean,
get it. I do get trying to get your money, especially in football. Like it's so important in football because you're the chance when you get an injury in football, the chances of it being you know career
right.
altering and career ending are so much higher than all other sports. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I get it, but I think I'm okay with it if if the Niners give it a no and he moves on and he's cool with it. But if he really pushes it, I think that's where I'm going to be like, do we really even need to deal with this? I don't think we do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I honestly think that if the Niners say, "We're not gonna do anything," I still think that I th see, this comes back to me and the character and the culture and the professionalism that the Niners have showed over the last couple years since Shanahan and Lynch have taken over. They have transformed the culture of that team,
Oh
especially
yeah,
within the locker room, to be so tight-knit and so, on point. Like I said, professionalism through and through, on and off the field. Like, you don't hear a lot of things controversial coming out of Santa Clara, like you did when you had guys like Jim Harbaugh, Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly. I mean, there was just a lot
yeah,
of turmoil going on, whether it was front office, locker room, or just all things turmoil.
yeah,
But right now, I mean, like you even hear, like I've read so many interviews and seen so many videos over the last several years where you can just hear even just snippets of the way these guys talk about, we've always said it just matters just getting the right guys in the building and then we can do whatever we want to do, right?
yeah,
So that testament to them, it just says that they pride themselves on evaluating talent at such a high level that they know exactly what they're looking for that fits their scheme, that fits their system, that fits exactly how they want to play football and what they want to do. Um, to where cause sometimes you scratch your head like, really, they didn't draft that guy here or they didn't do this here, but it's like, but they see something in some people that we don't. They see value that we don't, and usually they're right when it comes to 6 months later on the football field. They're
yeah.
usually
No,
right.
they've been pretty on it.
So, I would say, like, with to wrap this up on Raheem Mostert, I would say, you know, depending on what the Niners do here, will really tell a lot about how they feel about their system and how they feel about him.
Yeah,
So if they give him a little bump and they give him a raise and they keep him around and make him happy, that's going to tell you that they feel like they need him more than the system needs him.
yeah,
Uh, on the flip side, if they let him walk or sit out or trade him, then that's going to say that we trust our evaluation process, we trust our scouts, we know what we're looking for, and we think we can do just what we did with you with someone else.
yeah,
So we'll just have to sort of wait and see how this one unfolds. But again, I think that if the Niners do stand pat and decide to hold firm on their ground, that I do believe that the culture that they've built and the professionalism that they have and the guys that they have in the room, that I definitely still feel that Raheem Mostert fits that mold.
yeah,
And I doubt that he'll actually sit out a game if it comes to it. I think he'll be the type of person that says, I tried up until this point. I'm still going to play. I love to play football. I want to play for my team, and I'll prove you wrong again, and we'll do this again next year. You
yeah.
know?
I hope so. I hope he's that type of player. Those are rare to come by these years,
Well,
but
yeah. I
that's the
mean,
culture of the Niners too. So,
in this case,
um,
his only ask was to be in line with the highest paid running back on the team because he's going to be valued as the number one running back on the team now, and that's only asking for a $2 million raise this year and next year. So $4 million total
Yeah.
to be in line with what Coleman has. That's not saying he wants to hold out for the highest paid running back thing. That brings him from 2.7 to 4.7 million this year, which isn't a whole lot. It's not a big jump to have to do. So the Niners certainly could do it if they feel they need to do it, but they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's sort of where things are.
Makes sense.
Yep. So anyway, I mean, other than that, I mean, in terms of the NFL, hasn't been a whole lot of changes or new rules or anything like that. I know they've canceled a couple preseason games with the COVID situation, so it's starting to get a little closer to home now in terms of the start of this football season and camp and things like that. So will we see some actual delays in the season? Will we see some, altered schedules, sort of what MLB is doing to cut down some of the travel? I don't know.
It's going to be interesting, man. To be honest, I'm still not even sold on the fact that the major league starts up when they want to start. I mean, with the rises in COVID, it's pretty nasty, dude. The last few days, especially heavily in Arizona, and oh my God, Florida is just.
Well, you think about it, these are two states that basically opened up too early and are known for their partying and gathering and whatnot, and that's what really drives their economy. And so they wanted to get back to that for their economy's sake, and that's one of the most highest risk activities right now is going to a restaurant and especially a bar.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
not like going, for a walk or going to the beach. It's a completely different.
Yeah, there are some stats that came out, and like the highest risk is going to a bar, which makes sense. It makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I just hope that
music's loud in there. You got to like project your voice to talk to
you're screaming.
You're spraying their face with whatever you've got.
Yeah.
And
the pictures,
you gotta get close to listen,
Yeah, the pictures are pretty disappointing too, where you're seeing these crowded areas with no one wearing masks and stuff, which
and then how about
become this crazy controversy. So
then how about bar hopping, right? Like you and your friends, you leave one bar and you walk 3 doors down and go to the next one. It's like, so you were just exposed to a couple hundred people here. Now you're taking everything that you were exposed to and exposing everybody else here. And while you're there, you're going to get exposed to whatever they're exposing you to.
Oh,
it's a cesspool of things,
Yeah. No, yeah, it's interesting times. But I think they hit just the other day. I haven't checked it today or yesterday because I've been busy, but I think it was 2 days ago that Florida had 12,000 new cases.
Yeah.
In a day. I mean, that's one day. 12,000.
I just don't get the whole thing with bars. I get the business side of things and the small business side of things, but if you're a person who likes to go to bars, A, it's much cheaper to drink at home. B, you can invite over only the people you want to hang out with. You don't have to hang out with all the people who are at bars that you don't know. And and C, it's way less risk. So
yeah, man.
And what have we learned here? If you live in Florida, Arizona, drink at home for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it has a lot to do with people and their rights and all that. Like the mass controversy that we're seeing across the states is kind of ridiculous. Like I get, like, you have your freedom and your rights. I really get that, but there comes times in life where you have to look at the bigger picture, and the reality is like that it is hard facts of what a mask does to prevent. It's hard facts that this is an airborne illness. So just wear a fucking mask, dude.
Well, it's almost like you're just being that guy who's going against the grain just because that's
and that's fine. That's fine in most cases, but not with something that is really life or death.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be the guy that everyone's wearing, the new styles blue jeans and you're wearing black jeans, more fucking power to you, man. Go out there, be that black sheep. But when you being that black sheep has the risk of you hurting yourself or others, let's not do it. Those that have the breathing conditions, I get that. I really do. there are alternatives. Safeway in my area, at least, they have curbside pickup.
Yeah.
You know, order your shit, call them, have them bring it out.
Yeah,
Everything
well,
in their
there's
mother you can find on Amazon outside of like fresh produce. Some major cities they have that like Amazon fresh delivery, but like
right.
it's you going in and screaming and having a rage fest about you having some
It's
breathing
pointless.
issue doesn't help anyone, especially you, because then you're a Karen on the internet. So,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Oh my God, dude, speaking of Karen, watching the news this morning, here in San Francisco, one of the I should have looked it up, but you just reminded me. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but like one of the San Francisco supervisors is introducing the Karen Act, and
no.
it just happens to spell Karen,
Oh.
Caren. And it's like, oh, it's the Karen Act, but it's being sparked because there was a black man in, I think it was the Richmond district of San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and a few weeks ago when all the Black Lives Matters things happened, like he was painting with his stencil on this like retaining wall outside of his house,
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, and like
Yeah.
this white couple walked by and was giving him shit about it
Yeah.
because he's like, it's like
Yeah, I saw
they,
that.
they like didn't think that he lived there, and he's trying to convince them that he lived there.
That was
And
pretty
all that
bad.
stuff.
That was pretty. So I think he was
Yeah,
actually Hispanic, and it was with chalk on his. But it was regardless of what it was.
yeah,
Yeah, it was on his property. But the cringy part is she says like, I know the people that live in that house, and
right.
like the dude has apparently lived there for like a couple decades. So
Yeah,
she's
so
just being dumb. Apparently she's like a big time like executive for some kind of skincare product or something. But
right.
yeah, it was a bad look. Really bad look.
So the Karen Act stands for caution against racially exploitative non-emergencies. So
Oh
in
my
this
god.
case, it basically makes racially biased 911 calls illegal. So if
Nice.
you're somebody who like jumps to the phone to try to make like a 911 call based on like what could be implicit bias,
Yeah.
from a racial perspective, well, now you can be sort of charged with an illegal conduct act because you didn't try to understand the situation. Simple
Yeah.
as that, you know?
Yeah, I get that, and I'm in support of it, but
Also
at the
because
same
you're
time,
wasting law enforcement's time and you're wasting
yeah,
their funding and their resources where
yeah,
they could be dedicating these services to more important things. And that's why they want to hold people accountable so they know that there's a potential ramifications of something like this because we should be doing like more important life-saving things at this
yeah,
point, you know?
yeah. I'm in 100% support of that, but those things also make me nervous because it's like, well, who's the judge of if they were being racially biased? You know, who's the one that,
It's a slippery slope all around.
it's just there's just so much room for hearsay and personal opinion in that where because there's been some of the videos that have come out lately. I've even been like, okay, from just watching this, I can totally see the other side. Like, I need background. I need more background because right now I'm seeing something that this is getting kind of blown out of proportion. And then I get the background, and it's like, okay, no, that person was totally racist. But, sometimes there's been a few where I'm trying to think of the one that the other day I was just like, okay, this is the first one I've seen that I'm really questioning if this is like a black person just going a little crazy about it right now. But I think I then got we got like a background, and it was like a woman that said she was married to a black guy when she really wasn't. So that right there was like, okay, no, you're definitely racist then. So
Yeah, why are you that's
well, did you see on the news oh, this okay, so this is I want to talk on this real quick cuz you just since we're in this little conversation about the Black
Karens.
Lives Matter stuff and everything. I just had this one made me laugh really hard. So in Martinez the other day, did you see this with the paint?
Yeah.
Oh, this I love this, bro. I love this. So this white couple
They might be charged
starts,
as a hate crime.
dude, they should be. So but this is why I love this so much. I had my wife dying about this, right? So the lady, she walks up and she dumps. So it's they did the Black Lives Matter in yellow paint down like the main street in Martinez, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this white lady comes out and she literally takes a black paint can, dumps it on the B and the L, and has a roller and starts rolling it over. And she's like, screaming, and then her guy friend, whatever, husband or whatever, he's recording and he's preaching, like, this is bullshit. There's no racism. Just, the total freaking, out Trump supporter shirts and all that, which I don't get into the political shit, but just totally like fucking anti this. This is my favorite part though. She says, and I quote, "This ain't happening in my city." Okay. So let's put two things together. This ain't happening in my city, and your city's name is Martinez. It is literally the like stereotype name for a Spanish or Mexican person. You live in a city that is named after a Spanish name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how stupid can you be?
Yeah, it's not difficult to understand.
Like not in my city. This ain't happening in my city, a city that you live in that was named after someone of a different race.
But even so, if you felt that way after all we've seen over the last several months, all the news and everything, you pick now, like this week, like this is like, and you think that you're gonna march out there and do this, no one's gonna care. You're gonna go home, job well done. You did something good, and everyone's gonna pat you on the back. Like, hell no.
No. Now I did look it up, and apparently I didn't know this, but Martinez is apparently 75% white, which was pretty impressive to me. But I mean, obviously, the city thought it was important enough to have this put down. Like, you've got to have the brain cells to realize that someone didn't go out in the middle of the night and paint this real quick.
Right, they pulled this was planned.
This was planned. The city agreed to this.
Played it out, and they did it exactly.
So right there, you should have enough common sense to understand that you doing this is going to be considered vandalism, and you are going to get in trouble for it.
It's literally a public work of art, like a mural. So it's the same thing as you walk up to a mural on a wall and spray paint it. Yeah.
I just want to live in people's like this brain for like 5 minutes, like just to try to like. I don't even need to understand it. I just want to see what it's like.
No, I just want to be a fly on the wall in their living room when they're talking about doing this.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
you think that this is a good idea.
Yeah, like I've seen some shit and I've been like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. And then I'll think about it and be like, okay, well, if I go do this, I'm definitely gonna get arrested. I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot. Like I just want to live in their brain for a couple minutes and see like what gears turn and why they think it's a good idea in the middle of the day. On like the sunniest day, it's okay for you to walk out and dump an entire can of paint on the ground and start rolling over it. Let's go even past the fact that it's Black Lives Matter is written down there. You're also rolling over the double yellow lines that separates the street. Like just go. You know what would have been better for them to do? It would have saved them time, money, and a lot of shaming if they just went in their backyard and started digging their own graves. Yeah. Like it would have probably been more beneficial because that's how stupid these two look doing this. Like, man, it's hard because like, I really try to always look at both sides in scenarios like this. Like when George Floyd was murdered, like I really took a seat back and I tried to think like, the people that are, really upset about this, the people that think that the people that are upset about this are wrong, like try to think in both mindsets. And sometimes I can kind of say like, okay, I kind of see this side. I kind of understand the Black Lives Matter side. I understand the Blue Lives Matter side. I see the pros and cons in both. And then I take that information and I make my own opinion. Right, this is one of those scenarios where I have a really hard time seeing their side
exactly
where they think that this is okay to do. Like you can disagree with it, but you have to have enough brain cells to realize that this is something that was planned out and the city was involved in this. And right there alone, you should have the light bulb go off that if I go out and do this, I'm probably going to go to jail. But and maybe they didn't. If they're okay with that, then more power to them. But
okay, so you take Black Lives Matter out of this situation. You take if this was 2 years ago and this was anything else, but their same motivational like purpose was not in my city and this was something else, like it could have just been that like, oh, there was a yellow house on the corner and we don't like yellow houses in our city. So I'm just going to show up and I'm going to paint your house black because like I really don't like yellow and I don't want to see any yellow houses in my city. It's like that would still be not okay to do.
Yeah, and
Because
that's exactly what it is.
Vandalism. It's like this or that. It's like, or even if it was something like in a city park that was like a piece of art or a sculpture or something like that the city put together, and you have a difference of opinion, and all of a sudden you want to say not in my city, and you want to go do something about it. It's like you wouldn't do it in those situations. So why are you going to do it in this situation? This Black Lives Matter that's painted on the ground is bigger than you. It's bigger than any one person.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be one person that's going to be able to oppose this in any way, shape, or form and do something about it.
Yeah.
Like this is one group on one side, and there's apparently another group on the other side who doesn't agree.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And this is and I thought about it this way, like this brought me back to our conversation last week with gays. Like how does this affect your personal life?
It does.
With this on the ground, right? What is it promoting? It's promoting peace is what it really is promoting. Yeah. Like the base foundation structure of Black Lives Matter is peace, equality. They're not, Black Lives Matter isn't a movement of us to become better than you, to become better than the whites. It's like there's been comedy skits of it. It literally is Black Lives Matter. All they want to know, all it wants to promote is the recognition that they are valued. Not that they're great, amazing, the best ever, just that they're relevant is what it stands for.
Yeah, and it's because they feel like their lives are in danger more so than any other race at this point.
So how does this being painted on the street affect your personal life?
Yeah.
It doesn't in any way.
If it does, then like therein lies the problem. But the problem at that point is not with the system. The problem is with you.
Yes.
So if you then have a problem with this, you need to continuously reflect, learn, ask questions, do whatever it is. But acting out in this fashion is not acceptable.
Yeah.
And it should 100% be considered a hate crime, which is what I think they're going to be charged with, which could face up to a 1 year in jail just for not in my city painting over a sign that they dislike.
Yeah. And I mean, you can really rip it down to one simple question. What would they have done if it said all lives matter?
Right.
Nothing. So it's because it says Black Lives Matter is why they did this.
Yeah. Well,
I think answers the question of if it's hate or not.
I think there's a lot of people, particularly white people, who still are struggling with understanding even that difference between the black and the all.
Yeah.
And at this point,
I mean, it's very straightforward. Yes, all lives do matter. That's never been the question. But the question is that all lives can't matter until Black lives are treated as equal, and they're not. So that's why it's Black Lives Matter and not all lives matter, because we're already aware that all other lives matter. That's why we're in this situation right now, is because the focus has been on all the other lives.
Well, yeah, it just doesn't seem like Black lives are mattering as much as all other lives. And that's why we have a special campaign for Black Lives Matter. And at the same time, it's like all other lives aren't in danger right now. Yeah. Black lives are in danger. And that's why they are the ones that need awareness. No, I don't need awareness.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I feel very privileged. I don't feel like I'm walking down the street with any danger.
I literally, when I'm out with my family and we see police officers, we wave. The kids run up and say, "Hey," and I've trained them to, when they see a police officer in a situation, they can talk to them, go up to them and say, "Hey, thank you for what you do. Be safe."
Right, exactly.
If a black person did that, it apparently is looking like they have a 50% chance of getting a thank you or getting a knee to the back of the neck. So
I know
that's what it's about. And it just takes me back to how does this paint on the ground affect your personal life? If it affects if paint on the ground affects your personal life, then the problem is like you said, it's within you.
Well, these are the same people that must walk around their neighborhood and with kids like do sidewalk chalk. They must like, fuck, oh my gosh,
Oh
this
yeah,
is ridiculous. Like, what
yeah,
are these kids like drawing on our? This is graffiti on our sidewalks. Come on,
yeah.
can't do hopscotch around here anymore. Jesus Christ, you know?
Yeah, it's just I see the stories like that, dude, and I can't help but laugh, dude. It just
Oh, I know. It's
like that's
ridiculous.
what you're putting your focus in. That's what you're spending your valuable time on. And now you're
Oh,
going to go down in history as the two idiots that threw black paint on a mural in the middle of the street that's promoting peace.
yeah.
That's who you are. That is officially, it is stamped in the record books, the history books. That is your legacy. That's who you are. And you made that choice. For the
You know how
rest of your lives, you're the fucking idiots that did this.
I always wonder too, like, I'm sure some techie will create it, but you know how like there's that thing like the Angie's List for like sex offenders.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna make one for like
The
racists.
Karen's list.
Like yeah, or like a bunch of people who who've like publicly done some
Karenslist.gov.
Yeah.
Do you have any white racists in your neighborhood? Go to karenslist.gov.
It's like going to be a part of a pre-employment screening to see if you're on Karen's list or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to live in this neighborhood. That white woman across the street yelled at some black dude for putting a porch up in his backyard. That was the other one. That came up in the news. Did you see that one?
No.
The black couple that was laying pavers in their backyard, and their white neighbor came running over demanding they show a permit. Yeah.
Wow.
In their own backyard.
Go away, dude.
Yeah. I like that. You should get on that, man. That's a moneymaker right there. Karenslist.gov.
We should do that for sure.
Oh man, the world we live in.
I bet like tons of it'd be so fake though. People would just like troll so many people on that.
God,
like,
dude, that would be the. But you'd make a shit ton of money off that, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be pretty funny. It'd be pretty funny.
Oh man, I love our. As broken as it is right now, I still very much love our country because we get to laugh at things like this. That we should. I mean, and I to make it clear, I know it's a problem. I very much understand that it's a problem, and I love that it's a problem that's coming to light. But when you have these scenarios like this where nothing negative for the people that it's against are coming out, it just makes those people look so stupid. It's really funny, man. It's really funny.
This is such a laughable situation because it's so egregious as to what these two people did.
Yeah.
To where I mean, come on. It's like they deserve to be made fun of. They deserve to be outed. They deserve to be, shamed a little bit.
They're gonna be shamed. I mean, that's it, man.
So
that's their life. That's their legacy.
I don't know. Let's talk about something a little more positive and uplifting.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about me trying not to be fat anymore. I'm ready. I'm ready to be open about it.
Yeah, let's tell us a little bit about sort of your history with your battles of weight and whatnot, and then also sort of what you're doing now and your new challenges and sort of what you're setting your goals are for yourself.
Yeah, so I am a very unique person. I feel like in the sense that I'm not ashamed to admit that I've graced the 300-pound mark in my life twice. You've known me for 20 years. I'm not naturally a big person.
You've naturally been bigger than me since I met you.
Well,
but that's that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
Well, height wise, but I have a very normal body type.
Do you remember when I think I was a freshman in high school that I was one of the smallest kids in the school when I was a freshman, and you were already 6'3".
Yep.
That just to be ironic, I used to call you Smalls.
Yeah, that was your nickname for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to call you
Yeah.
Smalls because you were like taller than everybody else, and
Bro,
I was like,
this is how big I was as a freshman. I used to have sophomores, juniors, and seniors come up to me and ask me to help Freshman Friday other freshmen when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
I have helped throw a couple of my peers into garbage cans as a freshman because they thought I was not a freshman.
It was better than getting thrown in the garbage can.
I mean,
sure.
do you know what it's like to be a freshman and have someone come up to you and be like, "Hey, come help us Freshman Friday this guy. We got to get him in the garbage can." And me just be like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah.
And it's even better when it's like some of your friends and they're like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "Just go with it, dude. Just get in the garbage can."
Yeah.
Those are some good times. Oh man, I used to. Yeah, I have two situations like that where I was asked to help, but whatever.
Yeah.
Good times.
Trust me, they were going off your height, not your facial hair. So
yeah. Well, I mean, hey, that's a low blow. First off,
you didn't start growing a beard till you were like 21.
Yeah, and I'm proud of this. Okay, it's starting to. It's still pubic hair beard, but whatever. The purpose of it is to hide my double chin right now, which I think most times it does a good job. Except for when I look down really hard. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay. So if I eat like a normal person and am just average active, I'm a normal sized person. My problem is I eat horribly. I have a nasty sweet tooth where like I can't eat a couple M&Ms out of the bag. I eat 2 bags of M&Ms. Like that's just, I've had this brutal sweet tooth for years. And I didn't really realize how it affected my weight until I worked construction from 15 years old up to 26 was when whenever the economy crash was. I think we were around 26 when that happened.
Yeah, it was about 2011 or so.
Yeah, so when that happened, I got laid off because there was no work, and I sat on my ass for 10 months playing World of Warcraft, eating M&Ms and shit. And even then, I only gained
just like that South Park episode I was describing.
Yeah, exactly. So my normal size when I'm being averagely active, not overly active, and eating kind of like a normal person, I'm about 220 to 230, which I'm 6'4", so that's not bad. That's about normal, you know. I'm sure the doctor's scale would say that's obese, but it's really not. So what happened is after that, I got a job at the Ritz-Carlton as a loss prevention officer, which is the fancy way of saying security guard.
Right.
And I started, but I didn't work at the hotel. I worked at the club and residence in the city, so it's half residential, half timeshare. So it's not very busy. It's not, 100 people checking in and out every day. It's like 10 people checking in. So it's very chill. And I actually, majority of the time, I worked the overnight shift, which I literally sat at a desk all night doing the night audit. And inside our building on the other side was a 7-Eleven. That was like the only thing that was open. So, we'd always be snacking and stuff.
Yeah, they don't have too many healthy options.
Yeah. So, I'm not being active. I don't have an active job anymore of construction. I'm eating like shit. And I got up to just about 280 is when I was like, oh, God. So at that time, you had gotten me a job where we had worked for a city for a while. I got back into being active, and I dropped all that weight in a matter of months by not doing anything with my eating, just being active again. And then I had my career-changing injury, where basically I was I'll maybe one of these days we'll go into the details, but basically it involved me, a jackass, and a loader, where it disintegrated my meniscus in my right knee. I had to have surgery. I had a bad reaction to the iodine they used. My whole leg swelled up like a balloon and hives and everything after. It affected the healing process. I had to have another surgery. So I spent 2 years basically sitting on my ass, playing video games, eating, and I hit the 325 mark. And that's been my peak. I finally got my current job which is a desk job because I can't do the manual. I can still be physical, but I can't do it on a day-to-day basis anymore.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the room I'm in right here, I laid the hardwood floor a few months ago, but that was a day and a half worth of work, and after my knees are killing me, especially the one that's really jacked up. So, I started eating better when I transitioned from San Francisco to Portland, and I got down from 325 to 275. I was on a good track. I just really I have no shame in admitting I did Weight Watchers. I've done Weight Watchers twice in my life.
Oh, no shame, dude.
And Weight Watchers is really amazing because you don't have to necessarily you do adapt, but you don't. It's not like some crazy 1,500 calorie lettuce only and eating diet. Like you eat what you normally eat. You just you have points and you're aware of certain things. So and then you kind of adapt where. Like I used to make sandwiches every day and I put a shit ton of cheese, like 2 pieces of cheese, some big bread. And then you start learning well, the bread is 4 points. I'm allowed 55 points a day. 2 slices of bread is 4 points each. That's 8 points. Well, what if I swap that out for a tortilla? 1 tortilla is 4 points. So I cut that number in half, and then you start realizing, do I really need 2 pieces of cheese? No, because a piece of cheese is 3 points each. So one piece of cheese. And then, and that's when your brain starts to realize when you have, for me, I like pepper turkey or Sausalito turkey, like a spicy turkey, which is almost 0 points, depending on how much you use. And then mustard, pesto, and then cheese. And then you start to realize you got all these other flavors. There was one day I registered, I made a sandwich, I ate the whole thing, and I literally got to the last bite. And that's when I realized I forgot to put the cheese on it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much flavors with the mustard, the pesto, and the spicy turkey. You don't even taste the cheese. And then it's like...
Yeah, I'm a sauce guy myself, too.
Yeah, so it's
I love the little spreads. I always tell my sons, I was like, if you're not having spreads on your breads, man, it's just dull. You're missing out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, Luke drives me nuts, dude. I'll make him a cheeseburger, and I'm like, you want ketchup or mustard or both? Nothing. I'm like, you're sick. You're definitely gonna grow up to be a serial killer. Who has a dry cheeseburger, man? That's sinister. Man. So, what's cool about Weight Watchers is it's just that you can eat your normal foods, but you learn about them, and it's as easy. It's an app on your phone. You scan the barcode on pretty much everything, and even the foods that are one-offs. Someone in the system, the Weight Watchers system, has manually typed it in. So you can still find it, or you can even manually type it in if it's really that big of a one-off. But most of the time, there's something for everything, even the fast food joints, which is cool because, for me, my wife, she loves McDonald's, dude. I hate McDonald's. She loves it. But there's nights, especially now with our house under construction, we don't have an actual kitchen. Fast food's an option that we have to do more than we would normally want to. Well, this shows me, the artisan chicken sandwich is actually not that bad. So I can eat McDonald's, just I'm not eating a Big Mac or a double quarter pounder. I'm eating the healthier option. So it helps you make it so you're not just eating chicken and salad all day, every day. Because I've done those type of diets, and it instantly you just get to that point where you get that breaking point where you're just there are points where I'd eat the freshest piece of chicken, and as it's going into my mouth, I can feel my stomach just wanting to throw up because that's all I've been eating for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about Weight Watchers is just that it's not telling you not to eat anything. It's just making you aware that, hey, if you're going to eat this for lunch or for breakfast, then, that next meal, you might want to lighten it up a little bit. It just makes you more aware, which is really cool.
So are you doing Weight Watchers again right now?
Kind of. I'm kind of to the point where I don't really log all my meals because I've done it so many times that I'm kind of aware of what I can and can't eat and how much I can eat. If I come across some one-off that I'm trying, then I'll scan it real quick. But so I'll say yes, I am doing it, but not everything's going
not
in
religiously.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's probably because you've done it so many times. You're still kind of always aware of what's going in your body.
Yeah. So I know and I'm a very routine person. My breakfast, I make a smoothie every morning. It's 1 cup of light yogurt. It's one of the light GooglePlay yogurts, which is 3 points. An eighth of a cup of of 2% milk, which is such a small amount of milk, it's 1 point, and then frozen fruit, which is 0. Fruit's 0 points. So I have a smoothie that's filling and it's 4 points. And right now, because of my size, my points is like 63 or 64 points a day. So my breakfast is only 4 points. Then lunch, I have a sandwich, which is comes out to 12 points, and then I can have a big dinner. That's how I like to eat. And then it's nice because I can still satisfy my sweet tooth, but instead of eating like an entire row of Chips Ahoy cookies, I'll eat like 3 or 4. Yeah. Which is also like, you know, and it's funny how like it's all mental, dude. It really is.
So mental. Yeah.
Where like if you take a Chips Ahoy cookie, you shove the whole thing in your mouth, or you take 1/3 of a bite, it does the same thing for you.
Yeah.
You know, but instead of me eating 3,
still just one bite.
Yeah. Instead of me eating 3, I'm eating 1. Yeah. So it's all mental in the reality. And another big thing for me has been portion control my entire life. Like, I think it's because I was raised in an environment where like there's always a lot of people around and eating, and you know, if you didn't get your food, you were left with kind of the shit end of the bowl or whatever. So not like I was homeless or like poor, but I lived with my grandparents. They weren't the greatest cooks. So like it's hard to explain, but like you kind of are trained like get at your plate and fucking fill that plate. And then, you know, as my mind trained, I would eat that. And then it's like, so it's unlearning that and learning like, you know, I don't need to fill the plate. I can just put a little bit on.
Yeah.
And then
I just need what I need right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's like another thing. So it just really like for me, it's just learning my eating habits and trying to break them. And then I'm to the point where I'm becoming active again because I have to. So I've been going on these.
What are you doing to stay active?
So right now I've been going on these pretty good sized walks for me. Now remember, I haven't been active in a while. So a 2-mile walk for me is like a big deal, where to most people it's like, you fat lazy piece of shit. And I get that, and that's fine.
Hey, dude.
But it's a start, right?
Live within your means for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
And I live on a pretty steep hill. I live 1,000 feet above sea level, and my walk takes me down to about the low point is 680. So I'm walking down and up a hill, and then there's the straightaways I do run. The thing is I can't run too much because my knees are so bad. And then on top of that, I'm literally like, the best way I can explain it is like if you go to Home Depot or something, you're ever walking around Home Depot, go like walk down this like the cement aisle and pick up a bag of cement. That's literally what I have on my stomach. It's like 50 pounds, like a 50-pound bag of cement. And I'm running with that.
Easy.
You know?
It's not easy, dude.
So it really kills my knee. And then I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but whatever. Like it's, you know, if I get it out, maybe it'll help me. I've had to take a break on the running the last 2 days because I've given myself such bad shin splints that like it's hard to walk right now. So so what I've done is I actually just ordered indoor like exercise bike, stationary bike, which I'm excited about because when I went to rehab from my knee surgeries, that's one thing that I could hit hard even just a couple days coming out of surgery. That gave me a good workout, was easy on my knees, and I felt good after. So I'm excited.
Well, and even with the spin stuff, like you could start increasing resistance on that, which builds muscle and takes your workouts to another level as well, which is good.
Yeah. So
and it's low impact too on the knees, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's really what I need, and that's the killer for me, because I actually really used to love to run. I love have my headphones in and just go. I just can't do it. Now when I get down, I'll probably be able to get into it a little bit more again. Because when I did drop from 325 to 275, my knees started to feel better. And then I skipped over the part where I had a baby, and then being work from home from COVID, I got back up over the 300 mark. So I hit 303, and that was like, I swore to myself I'd never start with a 3 again, and I went against that. So that's what triggered me. But the thing that's kind of nice this time, which I've never had in my other times losing weight, is I have this crazy motivation, but nothing to drive it. Like the first time I really wanted to lose weight was when I was getting ready to get married. Then it was because I couldn't button my suit jacket anymore at work, and I was pretty embarrassed about that. Like I had these little things of motivation.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really have that this time. I mean, I have my kids. Like, Nate's getting to the point where he's 7. He's becoming more active, and I want to be able to be active with him. But I'm still like, I can still beat the kid in a foot race and stuff. There's been a time where I had to put on the gas a little bit, but and I'm sure that feeds into a little bit. But I think it's just I know what it's like to be a normal size,
Yeah.
and the ease of that compared to lugging around this freaking fourth kid on my stomach. So but it's a different feeling I've had. Like we've both mentioned how busy we are being parents and everything, and this show takes a lot of our time.
Yeah.
That I've been walking before we do our show. I'm like so motivated. Like I like with streaming, it used to always be like get the kids to bed, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I can go. I can hit the stream like 3-4 hours. Let's grind. And now I'm like, I don't even care about streaming. I don't care about the show until I get my walk in. And it's like, so I don't know where it came from or really like the real reason why. And I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to roll with it.
It feels good. That's what it is. You do it enough. If it feels good and you want to do it again, it makes it easy to do again.
Yeah. But the thing that I need to really focus on that is my goal that I'm jumping ahead of this time is I need to mix it up, because for me, I always get to that point where you start to plateau.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like, I do these little breaks, right? Where it's like, I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to go back, just eat some shit. And, that break is like, this weekend, I'm not going to track my food. I'm not going to, I'm going to go have a nice burger. I'm going to go eat, whatever. And then that weekend turns into, we got these, there's this cookie place called Crumble here. The freaking cookies are amazing. They're huge, right? You order a pack of 12 of them for the house, and then it's like, all right, cool. So this weekend I'm gonna eat this burger. I'm gonna have a big burrito. I'm just not, just take the weekend off. It's cool. We order the cookies, and then Monday comes around, and there's a leftover cookie. So well, I'll eat that. We'll just start on Tuesday, and then something else comes up. And Wednesday, and then the next thing you know, it's 4 months of this break, and in that 4 months, I've gained the weight back. So for me, what I'm focusing on this time is when I hit that point, how I mix it up. So I got the bike, I got my walks/runs, and then now I've actually been looking into getting a heavy bag.
Nice.
So I have things to mix it up. I will say that I'm happy to say that as of yesterday, I've gotten just back under that 300 mark for now. So that's good.
Nice.
But I'm just motivated, man. And it's just something that, I usually don't talk about it. I kind of always keep it to myself, what I'm doing.
No, it's good you talk about it. You need to put it out there. You need to let people know what you're doing. And that's sort of the way that if you keep it all to yourself, it's easy to make excuses as to why you don't have to do it today, or you don't, or like you said, you could take these breaks, and these breaks turn into, instead of we're just planning on taking a break 1 or 2 days, they go into 1 or 2 weeks because you're the only one that's holding yourself accountable. Like when you put these things out there, you have other people that you're trying to help motivate, and you want to show that you're doing what you said you're doing, and you've got something to live up to on your end of the bargain as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think for me the reason, like, I'm so weird with weight loss, dude. And I think that's the thing, the thing about weight loss is everyone has to do it their own way. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. I will tell you that there's no easy way. Like, if you're really serious about it, you got to watch what you eat, and you got to work out or be active. Like there's no magic pill, or those crash diets are bullshit, because you gain all that. I've done the crash diets. You gain all that weight back the second you go back to eating normal. It comes back quick. It's kind of scary how fast it comes back. But for me, the reason I don't like to talk about it is because I've done this before. I know my body. I know how it works. I know what I need to do to lose weight. I know what I need to do to keep the weight off. I just hit this point where I just don't do that. So the reason I like to keep it to myself is I can't stand the people that when I start saying like, oh, I'm gonna lose the weight, or they start seeing it and they start asking about it, and then I talk to them, and then they do the whole, oh, well, you should start doing this, you should start doing that. And in my head, I'm just like, bro, I've done this. I don't need your fucking story on your perfect body and how you do that. This is me. I do it my way. I don't need you telling me how to do it. And that's why I don't like to talk about it too much.
There's so many things out there that different things work for different people.
Yeah,
Is what
and
it is.
I know that it comes from a good place. Like it's people that are seeing me wanting to try and they're just trying to
Yeah,
help, and I
yeah,
get that. But I hate it, dude. It's like my biggest pet peeve with it. I'm just like that. I'm very personable, like personal with stuff like that. Like it's just something that I need to do on my own, and I'm gonna do it the way that I know is gonna work for me, and that's gonna keep me going. And like in certain ways, like you've given me some little things that, but the way you do it is different. Most people, they'll come at me with like, oh, you should really start trying to do this, or you should go, you should go to the gym. Don't ever tell me to go to the gym. I fucking hate the gym more than anything. I get creeped
yeah.
out by going on a machine, some nasty,
I don't
sweaty
I
dude
don't
that
go to the
hasn't
gym
showered in 3
anymore.
days.
I don't go to the gym anymore, and I probably won't. And I'll tell a story later about it. Go ahead.
I hate when people are like, "Oh, do you go to the gym? Well, you should really go to the gym." No, bro, you can go to the gym. I'll do my shit in my room where I'm huffing and puffing, doing 4 push-ups and dying, and so no one can see that and witness that embarrassment. I'll keep that to myself. Thank you. So
Yeah.
it's just something that I have to do for myself, and it's for me, and that's I think that is my real motivation. Is it's something for me. I just want to be healthier and not have to exhale to put a sock on. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and I know what that feeling's like because this is not, and it's funny because a lot of people today know me like this and they don't know me my entire life, and it's been a while. Like I've been big for a while now, so it's like I'm trying to. I think it's like I don't want people to think like this is the normal me because it's not, even though it's been like that on and off for almost the past 8 years now. So it's getting back to that reality of like this isn't.
We'll get there, dude. No worries.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We got time. So.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like I'm not in any hurry. Like there are weeks I'll step on the scale. Like 2 weeks ago I lost 0.04 pounds. It's still losing.
Yeah. Hey,
like I'm not
going in the other direction.
I don't have an end game. My end game is just to be healthy and happy. And I think what started this is I'm a terrible sleeper and I'm so busy all the time. I'm tired all the time. And I figured I'm not going to sleep more because I hate sleeping as it is. I think it's a waste of time. So how can I give myself more energy? Well, I got to get healthier.
But I think end game is like where a lot of people will like sort of get weight loss and exercise mixed up, because if you're doing it right, there is no end game. If you're doing it right, you've gotten to a point that you're satisfied with, but you have to continue working just as hard to maintain that.
Yeah.
It's not like I hit my goal tomorrow. I don't have to work out. I don't have to do shit. And I can go, get a cheeseburger and a milkshake and I hit it. Life's good. You know what I mean? It's like you got to keep that. It's a lifestyle that you have to adopt.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is it is a change of lifestyle, and that's where I hit the bump in the road is when I fall off a track of that change of lifestyle, and then I slowly transition back, and then you get that one day where you had a stressful day at work or whatever. It's one of those days that we there's nothing in the house to eat. We got to go to McDonald's, and then that's like the trigger point where it's like, you know what? I'm tired of this chicken sandwich. This one time I'm gonna get the 3 double cheeseburgers, McChicken, and just fucking have a night. And then it turns into 2 nights and 3 nights. And that's where it's like, it's okay to do that, but you got to get back onto the normal.
Yeah.
Like,
it's okay to cheat, but you got to right the ship, more often than you cheat.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'll get there. But yeah, I want you to talk on you because you do your own thing too, and we are on very different sides of the spectrum, where I'm trying to do like a whole lifestyle change, lose weight, where you have your own routine that's very different than mine, but still something that
my routine's very regimented, but it's still something that I have to be conscious of every day, and and with what I do, and I'm somebody that like I set goals for myself throughout the month. I try to hit them on a monthly basis, when it comes to working out and things like that. But, just starting a little bit about my background, like, growing up, I was a very athletic person, very involved in sports, always playing sports year round, to where I never really had a lot of downtime. And so being athletic and working out is always something that came natural to me. And I never really had to really think about what I was eating or what I was doing, because I was always active enough to where it was never an issue. And then when I went to college, I completely stopped playing all sports. And I started gaining a lot more weight because I wasn't working out a lot. I never really got
beers.
yeah, I partying a little bit and this and that. I never really got obese, but like I definitely was, had a lot extra on me than when I typically was accustomed to for many years, and a lot of my muscle definition went away, and a lot of that, right? And fast forward through working and stuff, like, I'd always work out, work physical jobs for many years, and things were good, but I never really had a big weight problem. So a lot of this time, it's like even though the time I'm working out, I'm still eating and drinking and doing whatever I want to do, and my weight fluctuated, but at the same time, I felt like, I wasn't um, in a position where I was really at a problem with my health or my weight, so I wasn't really conscious of it. It wasn't until probably recently over the last like couple years where I really started being more focused about it, and just like not necessarily what my body looks like and what my weight is, but just how I'm feeling and what I'm doing and what I'm putting into my body and what I'm doing to exercise, because it does a lot for your mental state and your well-being, and how you function, and and as being a parent, and how you can interact with your kids and whatnot. So, but I do have a big disclaimer about a lot of the stuff I'm going to say, and I have to give a lot of um, credit to my wife for our health and our food choices that we've switched to in recent years. Um, One of our youngest son had a couple ear infections a couple years ago, and after some research, my wife basically decided that we would cut out dairy from our diets as a family, so we wouldn't have any in the house, because the dairy was contributing to some of the ear infections. So since we did that, the ear infections have been really good, but it's also been very healthy for us. I mean, like, we don't buy butter, cheese, milk, things like that anymore, but like we'll buy almond milk, we'll buy vegan mozzarella, we'll buy vegan butter. I mean, it's actually not bad stuff. We'll buy vegan cream cheese to put on our bagels and things like that. It tastes different, but it's not bad. And once you've
Mm.
had it more than once, it's like you can deal with it.
Yeah,
You know?
almond milk kind of surprised me. I used to always clown on people that almond milk, like, milk, you can't milk an almond. I'm one of those idiots, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah,
then I have a friend who she has dairy deficiencies, and she comes and visits us every once in a while. And one of the things she asks is for us to buy almond milk. Now she's one because it's a real thing. Like, I don't clown on her, but
yeah,
she came, and when they left, it was in our kitchen. I'd never tried it, and I finally was like, I'm just gonna try this stuff just so I can really hammer it home. And I took a couple sips, and I was like, God damn it, this shit's actually not bad at all. So I haven't switched to it, but I also don't really drink milk on like a regular to begin with. So,
yeah.
but
Me neither. I mean, I'm like a cereal guy, and that's about it.
yeah, like every
But
once in a while I'll do cereal, but it's something I'll say. Like, if I poured myself a bowl of cereal with almond milk, it wouldn't completely change my, like,
yeah, yeah.
the taste to a point where I felt like this was different.
Yeah, so we're like, I mean, if all intents and purposes, we're a dairy-free household, and my wife's 100% vegan. My kids and I we're not vegan. We eat meat, eggs, things like that, but we don't eat dairy for the most part. And when I say the most part, they don't eat it at all. Me myself, when I go to work or things like that, and I might happen to pick up a sandwich or pick up lunch at work, like those are kind of like my cheat opportunities to not necessarily eat with such a strict diet, because when I eat at home, everything I eat is very strict and very, by the way the family does it.
Mhm.
But then when I'm on my own, I often use that as my time to splurge a little bit. But what I've found works for me over the years is, um, some people call it portion control, others call it intermittent fasting. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's more intermittent fasting, to where um, I usually don't eat breakfast. I'll just have a cup of coffee black, and then lunch is usually like around 11:30, 12, and that's usually when I break my fast. And um, now, before COVID, this was me going to work, and I would probably have a pretty big lunch, like a deli sandwich or whatever it was, a burrito or something like that. And it would probably be my biggest meal of the day. And then I'd come home and I'd eat really healthy with the family, but I'd also have smaller portion. And so for me, I felt like those two big meal times really, really worked. And I didn't do a lot of snacking in between. I'd still have my beer at night, after the kids go to bed, and that was really sort of it for me. But um, lately, what I've been doing a lot of, I still eat a lot of the similar way.
Mhm.
But when COVID really started, I really started ramping up my physical activity because I had a little bit more time. And now, what I try to do now is I do a lot of running. And I set goals for myself where I try to run 100 miles a month. Now, that sounds like a lot to some people, but like that happens to work with my like where I'm at in my physical activity and my abilities to do these kind of things. I just encourage people to get outside and do whatever you can. If that's like you, like walking 2 miles, like if that's what you can do, that's better than people not doing anything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I
So
think the 100 miles isn't that far of the question for some too, because like you've always told me like you try to run every other day, sometimes a couple days in a row where it's like 4 to 6 miles. I mean,
yeah,
for me, if I'm walking, I walk almost daily. Realistically, like 6 days a week. So you know, I'm at I can push upwards of almost 60 miles in a month in that aspect. So the number is scary, but if you really break it down, it's not like you're running 100 miles a day.
yeah. I mean, the way you look at it, if you broke down the 100 mile thing to where I'm at, that's about and I try to run every other day. On average, I run about 6 miles when I do a run. And so if but now if I just did 6 miles every time I ran and I ran every other day for a month, that's about 90 miles.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are days where I'll throw in an 8 mile run or a 9 mile run, but there's
Yeah.
also days where I'll cut it down to a 4 or 5 mile run, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like if I'm gonna run back to back days, I'm gonna run on the back to back side, I'm gonna run less than I ran the day before. I mean,
Yeah.
just from you can't do certain things to your body
Yeah.
in certain ways. You need time to recover, but just keeping track of it is the best way to set the goals and make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. Now, outside of the running, like you said, I don't go to the gym anymore, but what I will do is I do a lot of a series of push-ups, squats, lots of other things around the house, whether it's resistance bands, dumbbells, you know, whatever the case may be. But the three big ones for me are the 100 miles that I run. I try to do 2,500 push-ups in a month,
Hmm.
and then I try to do 1,000 squats. And so it's some variation throughout the day, whether it's I'm sitting right here doing Zoom meetings for work, and in between I'm gonna do break down and do 25 push-ups and 10 squats, you know, and then an hour later do the same thing. So you just get them done variously throughout the day,
Yeah.
tally them down, you know, and the running is a little bit more planned out because of what it takes to do that. Um, but these are the three main goals, and then you start setting higher goals for yourself every month. And then when you actually put a plan like this together, you actually adhere to this plan a lot more um, rigorously throughout the month, and that's when you'll start seeing the results. If you're just
Yeah.
somebody that says, okay, well, I'm going to start going on these runs or these walks, or I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to start doing that, if you just start doing it with no plan, it's easy to let it fail. But
Yeah.
if you put a plan together and you write something down and you put it out in the universe, just like they say, like, oh, if you have a goal, like write it down, put it out there, even if it's just like this crazy dream goal. Like sometimes you need to put it out there in order for it to hear it, to make it happen, to see if it's possible for it to come to fruition. Right. Same thing with working out. It's like you have to put these out there. Sometimes you got to tell somebody else so somebody else can hold you accountable to it, whether it's
Yeah.
your spouse or your brother or your mom or whatever the case may be. Um, my last big thing is I'm a firm believer in invest in yourself when it comes to working out. And what I mean by that is invest in, you know, a new pair of kicks, some workout clothes, whatever the case may be, because a couple things here. It's like I live by the look good, feel good, play good. If you look good, you will feel good and you will perform well when you're on you know, your run or your workout, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
On the flip side of that, if you invest in all the new shoes, new workout gear, new fits and all that stuff, and you're just going to Starbucks with it and you're not actually working out, well, you're going to feel like a pretty big POS at some point, and
Yeah.
in turn, hopefully it motivates you to work out finally in the end, because otherwise you're just the biggest poser of them all, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's why invest in it, get yourself some new Nikes or whatever the case may be. And just, um, like these are my running shoes. I paid $120 for them. It's like, I got to go run, because if you
Yeah.
don't, you just wasted $120,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes you need that little added motivation by by splurging on something. So now you have an investment that you have to exercise. Otherwise, you just wasted money,
Yeah.
you know? And
That's what this bike is gonna be like for me because
yeah,
I'm slightly different. I definitely put some money into some good shoes, but because of how our workouts are different, where your workout is to stay healthy, where my workout is to get healthy. I don't want to dump money into clothes and stuff because if things go as I'm planning within the next couple months, they won't fit me. They'll be way too big. So the shoes are important, but that's where I have that, I share that mindset where this bike, especially my wife, I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's the best thing about her, but she's fucking ruthless, dude. Like this bike is going to be in this house. If I don't use it, she's going to let me hear about it, dude.
oh
So
yeah,
it's like,
oh
it's
yeah.
almost to the point where it's like, I better use it because I don't want to deal with her freaking nagging me about it.
I know what
Um,
that's like, dude, for
so,
sure.
but she does it in a positive way. I'm not trying to dog on my wife. Like she'll do it in motivational, but she'll do it in that condescending, like, oh, that bike is that dust over there? Is that and she'll do those little things. So, but so that's where my thing is. I dropped a few $100 on this bike. It's apparently a pretty good bike. I didn't go Peloton. That's way out of my league. I'm not trying to do all that, but it's a good bike where I can just throw my iPad down on it and so this is another thing where I'm excited about the bike is because I can play it both ways. We always talk about the shows that we watch, and you've given me all these recommendations, and I can't watch them because it doesn't fit into my lifestyle right now, where I have work, family, and play. But with this gives me an opportunity where I can throw my iPad in, my headphones in, and I can start watching these shows you've been telling me about while working out. And it's cool because a lot of the shows are hour-long shows. So I know that I'll have to be on this bike for at least an hour because I'm the type, I can't do that whole like halfway through a show. Like I got to sit and watch the whole episode. So I think I have some good little plans.
To another point is like if you're going for a walk or you're going for a run, it's like pick your halfway point, the farthest point away from your house, so that you have no choice but to go just that same amount back.
Yeah.
If you're the type that walks around the block 3 times, well, it's really easy to just stop after the second time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's a really good point because when I started my walks, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew, especially the first couple of days, it was going to be brutal because I had to walk. So how like I'm on this, the way like I do my loop is I go down. And sometimes I do it the opposite way, but when I started is I went down the side where it was kind of a little bit longer to get to the bottom, and then it's a fucking hill coming up, right? But I knew that if I took my way down, it would be cool. I knew there was only one way to get back home.
Yeah.
So I did in the first three walks when I got home, dude, I was like hyperventilating, like about to die, but then now I've already gotten to the point where I do it no problem. So now I'm like, I'm looking on my map, like, okay, well, I got to extend this now. So, but no, that's a good point is the lap thing's not good. That's why, like, my kid's school is right down the street and they have this little hokey track. And I started with that. But I started doing that. I realized like I get to like it's 6 laps is a mile. In a couple of days, I was like, I'd get to lap like 5 and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just kind of burnt out. Good enough.
Yeah.
And I started having that mindset. It's like, see, but that's where I'm going to start falling back. And then eventually I'm going to be like, I'll just do 4. I'm not going to do it today.
Because my thing is even if like, let's say you go for a run and like, you set that halfway point far out. Well, even if you can't physically run that whole distance, you're gonna cover the same amount of mileage, whether you start to walk or not, because you have no other choice because you've gone this far. You have to make up that amount of ground in order to get back.
Yeah.
And the other thing aside from like running around the tracks is like, just like I'm sure where you are and where I live, the thing I love the most about running the streets is I get tons of interval training. I'm going uphill, then downhill and uphill, and there's tons of different inclines and declines. And so when you go on those slight inclines, you're getting your ass kicked for a little bit, but then you're getting a little bit of recovery time on when you're plateauing or you're coming on the downhill. Like, so you're getting cardio ratio at a high level, and then recovery, and then cardio, and then recovery. And so it's like you're really actually doing the same thing you would be doing on a treadmill at the gym that goes up and down with different resistance, sequences and whatnot. So you're just doing it naturally, and you're building ton more muscle and endurance because of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's nicer. Like a track's boring. You're just running in circles, you know? At least if you like have a uh like you go on a run or a walk that's one large loop, you're seeing things that are a little bit different. Your view's better, you know? Like I even though I do the same thing every time I see something different, like I see this thing on this house I didn't realize before. It's kind of cool. And then, it helps in other ways. Like now I got ideas from all these houses in my neighborhood. It's like, oh, I kind of like that. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that on my house. And
Yeah.
so like just your visuals make it a little bit more positive too.
Yeah.
I,
I mean,
I
that's
get I get how like a track is nice because it's really easy to know like exactly how far you've run and your time and everything, but it's kind of boring. It gets boring
You
after
got
a
your
while.
you got your phone for that now. I mean, I got
Yeah.
an app that in my earphones, it tells me like distance, 1 mile, time, blah blah blah. It's like I don't even have to look at it. It's like as soon as I cross that point, it just starts talking to me,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah, I
so
have that. I have an Apple Watch, which is oddly, I never thought like I'm not a watch guy, and I talked about it with my wife, and she got it for me last Father's Day. It's a motivational piece, dude, because like when I go on these walks, sometimes there's been a couple times where as I've gotten more comfortable with it, I'm starting to not hit the calorie count as I did before because I got to start extending it, right? But I love looking down and it's saying like, oh, your active calories are like 480 when I get to my front step. And I'm like, oh, fuck that, dude. I'm hitting 500. So I'll walk down the block and back just to get to that 500 mark. Where it's like back in the day, we didn't have that. We'd run the
yeah,
mile or the couple
yeah.
miles and be like, oh, that's it. And you're not, no
Felt like
changes
a good
happening.
workout, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice seeing that. And that's like those little,
This is my Apple Watch when I go running. I still have one of those things that like straps to my
oh, yeah.
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I don't have the Apple Watch,
Bro,
but
you
like
should really look into it, man.
I want to, but it's like I'm always just like, $500. I can spend that $500 on something else, you
You
know?
can get the cheaper ones. Like I didn't get the top of the line one,
Yeah, no,
but
for like you can get like the older generation ones now
yeah.
for like 250,
The
you
thing
know?
that pisses me off about my Apple Watch is I still have to bring my phone for Spotify.
Ugh.
Like that's the annoying part. I wish I didn't because then I could leave my phone at home and just have my watch and my headset or headphones.
Yeah,
So then,
yeah,
but then I got this big clunky thing bouncing around in my pocket just for music. So I'm sure there's something I could do about that. I just have to research it. But
yeah.
that's the only downside. But I just love how it tracks all the little things it tracks, and it has the little preset things for like walks, runs. It even has like stationary bikes. So I'm excited to use that and check it out. But
Yeah, I'll post a couple of my workout summaries on social coming up this week so you guys can see what my sort of status is like and what what my workouts are like. And the same thing, like it covers like I'm talking about, like I live on a hill too, and talking about the different hills that I go through. Like I cover about 650 feet of elevation and change when
yeah,
I'm running.
that's nice.
And so it's pretty cool to see that. And it's like, it kind of goes like, cause I live on a hill. So it's like my whole change is like, it's kind of like this U-shaped bell curve where
Yeah.
it's like, cause I'm starting at the top and then I basically run to the beach and then I come back up to the top, So it's like it's almost like the second half of my run is like almost all uphill to an incline. So it's like I'm on those mile 4, 5, and 6, and it's like, I'm really into it, getting my ass kicked, and I'm not even going downhill. I'm going uphill.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
fun, man. It's fun, man. And my thing is just, whether it's the notes in your phone, a little whiteboard, piece of paper, whatever it is, just keep track of what you do on a daily basis so that you got an end of the month tally. And the idea is to try to set yourself a goal that's not so easily achievable that you can do it in the first 10 days of the month, but
Yeah.
you want to set yourself a goal that
You
is
got to
going to
push for a
take.
little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have to push for it in order to get it, but it's not out of the question for you to achieve it.
Yeah.
And then every month you sort of you build upon that, and you set a little bit higher of a goal for yourself. And
Yeah.
I think it'll be much easier for people to achieve it that way as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think we should do check-ins though on
yeah,
maybe every couple weeks or something. Just see how
for
we're
sure.
doing.
For
I know
sure,
it'd
man.
help me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we can check in every episode, like at the beginning, how our weeks were, how many miles we got,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Well, we've surpassed the 2-hour mark, I believe.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. I'm tired.
All
Life,
right.
man. Life is tiring.
I know. I know. It's been a good week though. We're gonna not a whole lot of plans coming up this weekend, but hopefully work on the house a little bit and just yeah, do a little bit more working out. Go for a few more runs and get some more push-ups in.
Yeah, I'm getting back on it. I took 3 days walking off because these damn shin splints. But this is cool. Like real quick before we wrap up, this is where like my motivation's at now. Is I researched it. I found some stretches that help with shin splints, and I got some like compression shin things
Sweet.
too, like
Yeah.
that are coming tomorrow. So but that's what's cool. It's like I'm like itching, like talking about this right now. Like when I log off, I want to go for a walk. I'm not going to because it's almost midnight, but I just like that I have this motivation and I don't want to lose it. So that's why when my legs started hurting, I was like, I got to figure out something to do so I don't stop. And apparently this bike is going to take almost 2 months to get here because of COVID. So I got time before that comes. So I was like, I got to figure something out to keep
You still
moving.
got like your legit like street bike though?
My motorcycle?
Not your motorcycle, like actual road bike, like your bicycle?
Yeah, but it needs some work, dude. It's been sitting for so long. I probably got to get some tires in it.
Just drop it off at a local shop or something. Have them do like a tune-up on it.
Man, you know how I am. I do that shit myself. I don't like people touching my stuff. But that's not a bad idea. I might look into it. But mine's not like a legit road bike. It's a one gear.
Pixie, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how I don't think that would help me around on these
Yeah,
hills.
workout.
Yeah. But
I used to bike with a guy who, you remember Tim Thompson? Who we used to work with, one of his buddies, Ken. These guys would mountain bike so often.
I know.
And they would always train for their trips to Tahoe that they were going to go mountain biking on.
Those guys are crazy, man.
Would train here in Pacifica on Montero Mountain. He would go from the bottom to the top on one of those fixies.
Oh
And
my
that
God.
would just be how he trained his legs to get ready for his other
What's
trips.
crazy is those guys did that in their 50s.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they were I don't think I've ever in my life been as fit as them.
Oh no, yeah. I've gone biking with them, and they make me look really, really bad.
Yeah,
And
those guys
they're
are
both old
freaks,
enough to be
dude.
my dad,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Tim was amazing, dude. That was a good dude.
yeah. He's
Good
pretty
dude.
cool. So,
All right.
anyway.
Any last words?
No, man. That's it for episode 5. We covered a lot: gaming, sports, weight loss, personal challenges, you name it. This is the Grown Up Show where nothing goes untalked about.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I got nothing, man. Like, subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're chilling on the audio platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Google, and Stitcher, thanks for listening. And we will see you in the next one.
Right on. Peace out.
Peace.